listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Straight back into the action at Trent Valley Kart Club's Winter Series, the second round of the 2019 campaign. Jake Sanson here, broadcasting live from Downforce Radio and trackside of the Trent Valley Kart Club, of course. We're going into the action for race 19 of the day, the second heat for Senior X30. Louis Westover and Thomas Turner on the front row of the grid from Gary Edwards and Matthew Hudson. Then Archie Tillett and Cole Kilner will be on row 3 from Teddy Pritchard-Williams and Ewan Wilson, with Oliver Greetham and Alex Wang, Thomas Fleming and Matthew Armstrong, Lewis Thompson and Tom Wood from Harry Torpey and Oliver Hodgson, Mario Mills and Joe Reeves-Smith, Philip Rawson and Finley Cross, Artur Salmela, Emil Kajalainen, Harry Platten, Ben Hodge, Alex Spinks, Max Jean, Cameron Coombs, Louis Short, Nathan Chafer, Andrew Trevor, Braz Fennick, Charlie Webster, Tom Hankins, Jake Douglas, Josh Graham and Rufus Hunt. They are in position as they come around the 2 rows, and they will come out of the final turn and go straight into the action for what promises to be another thriller in Senior X30. We had a red flag at the start of the last one. Are we going to get another similar story? Let's find out. Lucky start. Thomas Turner trying to come around the outside. It's feisty through the first chicane, and there's contact. 2 karts have come together, and one of them is facing the wrong way. It is the 99, I think, that has gone around, and that, unfortunately, is Louis Short for Madcrock. So Louis Short is facing the wrong way. The rest of the drivers are getting away much cleaner than they did before. So Mario Mills has not taken up the restart. I'm assuming that his kart is too badly damaged from the original red flag incident. But Senior X30 is off to a flyer. Tom Turner is leading the way, though. Thomas Turner in front of Louis Westover. Third place, that is the 87 of Gary Edwards, in front of Hudson and Cole Kilner as the field jostles away for position, trying to work their magic through the field. A nice little squabble in the mid-pack. Whoa, a big slide and off onto the grass. That is one of the Litchfield karts, I think, that's dropped a long way down the order. That might be Joe Reeves-Smith, actually. So a couple of drivers in dire straits. The only 2 that didn't make the start from the earlier red flag crash are Mario Mills and Braz Fennick. It's the 71 that gets a warning. That's Harry Torpey. But at the moment, it is Thomas Turner who leads, Westover in second. Then it's Gary Edwards from Hudson, Kilner, Tillett, Greetham, Wilson and Pritchard-Williams. Then Harry Torpey and Lewis Thompson. Thomas Wood is 12th from Oliver Hodgson, Philip Rawson and Matthew Armstrong. Down the back straight into the braking zone for the right-hand hairpin. So far, so good, and a big tussle for position between the 2 Mick Barrett Racing drivers. It's Cole Kilner who gets past Matthew Hudson, who's now defending valiantly from Archie Tillett. The PFI kart is going to come through this time, and the 59 is going to assist him to get there. Oliver Greetham trying to make space for himself in the process, but he only assists Tillett to go through. So the gap wasn't quite wide enough for 2, and we've had an off. That's Joseph Reeves-Smith. Joseph Reeves-Smith has come off on the run to turn 7. So after the first the first right hairpin, he has come off on the run to the left hairpin. He's got going again, but I think that's going to be race pretty much over for Joseph Reeves-Smith in what's been a very difficult weekend so far in Senior X30 for Joe Reeves-Smith. Meanwhile, though, as they come over the top of the hill, over the Litchfield Bridge and down the back straight, it is Thomas Turner who leads the way at the moment from Louis Westover. A big lunge into the braking zone from Cole Kilner, up on the inside of Gary Edwards and through. Wow, Cole Kilner really putting on a big display there into turn 6. The right-hand hairpin gets it done. And there's 2 cars off together. That is the 59 and 22. That's Tillett, who's come together with Greetham. So Oliver Greetham and Archie Tillett, they get back on the circuit, but they've dropped right down the order out of the top 10. So those 2, unfortunately, will not be battling for the win in this one. They continue on the progress. The only discretion at the moment is Harry Torpey with the warning flag, but he will be knocking on the door of the top 6 now after that incident between Greetham and Tillett. They were fighting for 5th position, don't forget. And a change for the lead. That's Westover going for the move on the inside. And he's going to get a move from Cole Kilner. Kilner's got them both. Oh, terrific from Cole Kilner. Westover made the move in through turn 3. That's a stereotypical move, but Kilner got past both of them. So Cole Kilner now at the front of the chase here. And there's a big tussle further back for 5th position as Torpey gets a little bit of a nudge there and a rub from the 25 of Matthew Hudson trying to come up the inside. Now there's jockey for position again as the 179 gets squeezed out. That's Lewis Thompson jostling with Ewan Wilson. It's a proper squabble just outside the top 6. And there's drivers banging wheels and rubbing side pods all the way through the field. So back at the front, Thomas Turner is trying to get back on terms with Louis Westover, but the leader is Cole Kilner, and he's a kart length clear now. And that's disappeared instantly because Turner has caught right up to Westover and he's helping him through. Westover goes for the move on Kilner. He gets through on the inside, and it looks like Turner's going to get through as well. Yes, he does. So Kilner down to third. Westover's your leader. Turner in second. Kilner down to third. A whisker in front of Gary Edwards. The top four battling for the win. Now Kilner has another crack at Thomas Turner for second place. Into the hairpin, turn 6. Through the right, and he's there. Now the short stretch up to turn 7, the hairpin. He defends to the inside to stop Turner coming back through. That compromises him. Edwards gets the move on the inside. Goes for third position and finishes the move up to turn 8. Absolutely ferocious racing in Senior X30 today. It's been like that ever since the first lap of the first start. And it just keeps on intensifying. Great racing here today in Senior X30 at Trent Valley Kart Club's second round of the Winter Series. Cole Kilner no longer the leader. It's Louis Westover who leads over the line. Kilner second from Edwards and Turner. They fly under the Litchfield Bridge once again. A bit of a time to make up, but up the inside, Edwards tries to go for Kilner. Kilner shuts the door firmly, and that's enough for a move from Thomas Turner to get back into third place through 4 in the left-hander over the bridge, and he's into third place. Now down the back straight. So far, Westover's got about 3 kart lengths over Kilner. They go through the right hairpin, and that's a move further back. That's Hodgson. Hodgson is making his move now. He's got past Teddy Pritchard-Williams and charging after Ewan Wilson. That's good enough for Hodgson to be 7th. If he keeps making this sort of progress, he'll be in a strong position for the final. Don't count him out for the win. He knows this place like the back of his hand. So, while he fights back through the field, the leaders, Westover versus Kilner, is still a pretty intense squabble at the moment. Out of the final turn and down the home stretch. Westover going a little wide over the curbs, but leads the way comfortably for the moment. Kilner second, Turner third, 4th place is Edwards. Then Torpy, Wilson, Hodgson, Pritchard-Williams, Thompson and Wood. They come up the top of the hill, over the Litchfield Bridge and into the right-hander square, up the drop, down the back straight. Westover, your leader still. Kilner in second place. Turner in third. Turner's going to make a very late bid to go through on Kilner. Lovely job. Absolutely brilliant there from Turner. Now Kilner's going to have to retaliate. Watch out for Edwards on the far side. A nudge there from Kilner on the back of Turner. Edwards is going to have the space and the line to come through, and that's really compromised Kilner. He needed to be a little bit less aggressive there. In through 7, and unfortunately it's dropped him down to 4th, so no harm, no foul. Kilner was the one who came off in that one worse. So Westover leads, and he's got the important, vital space to make it happen. Now, there's a flag of some kind going out for the 99. That is Louis Short. Now, that is a warning flag. So the 99 has got a warning flag there. That's Louis Short. Didn't see what he did, but obviously he may well be frustrated after being spun out on the first corner jostle. So that could be maybe a choice maneuver after a little bit of retaliation needed. But the 99, Louis Short, is given a warning. Out in front, though, Louis Westover leads comfortably with about 6 kart lengths advantage over Thomas Turner and Gary Edwards. Cole Kilner frustrated down to 4th. They come through once again. 5th position, by the way, is now Ewan Wilson on the Fullerton chassis for S8 Racing. And then it's Torpy, Thompson, Pritchard-Williams, Tillett, Hudson, Wood, Rawson. What's happened to Hodgson? He's dropped back to 17th again. So Hodgson's had a real nightmare in the last couple of laps. And there's an off. There's an off up at 9. We've had somebody go off and nearly hit the wall. That is the 210, I do believe. And that, I'm afraid, is Artu Salmela, the Finnish driver. Artu Salmela is off the circuit there up at turn 9. And that has really ended his chances. He's trying to get the car back to the pits so that he doesn't have a long walk home. But unfortunately for Artu Salmela, the Finn is out of the race. Oh, and there's a yellow flag. We've got a spin off of the bridge. And a real problem for the Litchfield driver. Well, certainly the Tony Kart. Is that Gary Edwards? I'm trying to see who that is at the sharp end. I think the top 4 are still okay as they are. It's the 71. It's Harry Torpy, the leading privateer. Torpy has gone from the top 6. Disaster for Harry Torpy. And now it's just a cruise home. He can't believe his luck. Harry Torpy is out of the race. Last lap goes out. Louis Westover leading, but still, Edwards and Turner are determined to catch Westover. And they do have time to do it. Half a second is the gap. Westover needs to do a qualifying lap here to hang on to the lead. But there's going to be a lot of support from Gary Edwards to Thomas Turner. Westover hasn't got this race won yet. Into turn 6, the hairpin through the right. Back on the power. Short stretch. Turn 7. Westover's got a good advantage here. It's 3 or 4 kart lengths. It's enough to be comfortable to go on to the end of this section. But it looks to me as though he's got enough. Gary Edwards is fed up now. He wants to go for Turner for second position. He's going to try, because there isn't a lot of room to negotiate. He is going to try and make that move happen. But the checkered flag is being prepared for Louis Westover. He did a fantastic job in race 1. He's going to do it again in race 2. Louis Westover continues the winning streak, and they've done it again. Westover takes it from Turner and Edwards. 4th place for Cole Kilner. Wilson is 5th. And a fight back from Archie Tillett puts him 6th in front of Lewis Thompson, with Teddy Pritchard-Williams in 8th place from Matthew Hudson and Harry Platten. And then we've got Rawson, Wood, Schaefer and Armstrong. Then it is Hodge in 15th from Oliver Hodgson. Terrible race as far as he's concerned. That's going to make the final even harder. Max Jean in 17th from Alex Wang, Alex Spinks and Tom Fleming. Then Rufus Hunt making his way back to 21st. Good recovery from him. 15 places made up. 12 made up for Jake Douglas, who is 22nd. Then Emil Karjalainen, Josh Graham, Louis Short, Finn Cross, Cameron Coombs, Andrew Trevor, Charlie Webster, Tom Hankins. Harry Torpy does finish in the end, but only 31st. And Oliver Greetham was a lap down after his earlier problems. Retirements for Artu Salmela and Joseph Reeves-Smith, with the 2 non-starters from the earlier red flag incident, Mario Mills and Fraz Fennick, with both of those drivers essentially out of the race weekend. But what a sensational race again from Senior X30. They just do not know when to say die. And just when you think you've seen the best of them, you're going to get another fantastic race. So with Harry Torpy spinning out, the leading privateer then becomes Ben Hodge. So not a bad result from Ben Hodge. He obviously deserved to fight his way through the field. And it's not every day you can say, I beat Oliver Hodgson. Not bad job at all from Ben Hodge. Next up, though, it's Honda Cadet, race number 20 on the 33 race bill. And this is the 4th time the Honda Cadets have been out there. But you have to remember that, of course, it's only the 2nd time for each driver in this grid. Because of the way the groups have worked, they obviously are separated into the 4 groups, and they each get 2 heats each. And because there are so many drivers in the Honda Cadet field, they're obviously going to be separated into a B final. So it's now up to the drivers to keep themselves out of that B final, because there are only 28 places assured for the top 28 drivers from the Honda Cadet mark. And obviously it's the top 6 drivers that then cross the line in the B final that get themselves a place on the starting grid for the A final. So there is still a last chance for those drivers, but they've really got to go for it. So now the Honda Cadet grid for heat number 4 of their category and race number 20 of the day. Kian Nakamura-Berta from pole position will be alongside Jack Hobson on the grid. Connor Duncan will share the 2nd row with Reese Lomax. Stephen Duncan will be beside Connor Leishman. Aidan Evans will share row 4 with Henry Gregory. And Damien Barris-Haggett will be on row 5 with Gustav Usakov. Hayden Eldridge and Oscar Toyton are on row 6. Alfie Thompson and Reg Hayward will be on row 7. From Ryland Ekberg and Josh Rudd, Alex Hawcutt and Ollie Handley, from Dylan Mackay and Bradley Bick, Danny Shields and Wesley Swain, Jai Lawrence and Kasper Tomilewski, Mikey Porter and Jacob Gilman, and then it's Oliver Buckton, Mars Turnbull, Sonny Mortensen and Aston Sharp. So we're getting ready for the start of their race in Honda Cadet. Obviously, we are still making sure that the cart that is cleared up at the run to Bobby Game Corner is removed, and that is the cart belonging to Artu Salmela, the Finnish driver who pulled off in the earlier heat. But they are now coming back to pit lane, and they will get there well in time for the start of this race. So the green flag flies at the top of the gantry, and the Honda Cadets will come out. Led out by Kian Nakamura-Berta, hoping to make it 2 wins out of 2 in Honda Cadet this weekend. And of course, that would have make him, how many races would that mean he has won over the course of the Winter Series? Because, of course, last time out in Honda Cadet, he took a win in the heat and a win in the final. So that means that now he will be searching for his 4th Honda Cadet win in the Trent Valley Kart Club's Winter Series. And of course he has an Army Cadet win to his name, so that will help his confidence as well. So Kiya Nakamura-Berta from pole position. Don't count out Jack Hobson though. He'll be a little bit determined after losing out in his earlier heat when he started on the front row of the grid alongside Sonny Smith. And unfortunately, the wet and damp conditions from earlier on, the slidey, icy conditions, really caught him out. But we know that in the dry, he is incredibly fast. Otherwise, he wouldn't be sharing the front row of the starting grid with Kiya Nakamura-Berta. So it's up to him to put that misery of the earlier race behind him and just focus on pushing forward. He's got the speed, he's got the ability. It's now just a case of putting it all together. Nakamura-Berta, Hobson, Duncan, Lomax, Duncan, Leishman, Evans, Gregory, Barris Haggett and Usakov in the top 10. They're now forming up together. It's a bit late, though. I have a feeling this could end up being a false start. Oh, no, of course it isn't a false start because, of course, it's Honda Cadet, so they are a standing start. My fault there. So many races through the course of the day. Honda Cadet is the only category, of course, that has the standing start procedure. So Kiya Nakamura-Berta and Jack Hobson will line up alongside each other on the front of the grid. And then it will be Connor Duncan alongside Reese Lomax, with Stephen Duncan in behind him in the Project 1 chassis. And then it is Connor Leishman for Saltire Motorsports in 6th on the grid. This is going to be an interesting one. Can anybody topple Kiya Nakamura-Berta? This is a Jack Hobson opportunity, and he knows it. From the front of the grid, he can charge away, and if he gets the good start he needs, then it could be very tough for Nakamura-Berta to beat him. The lights will come on now. When they go out, we're racing. Now! Perfect start from Hobson. That's exactly what he needs. He cuts across and squeezes Nakamura-Berta out. Perfect start from Hobson. And immediately he signals to the Japanese driver, come on, let's work together and get away. But Nakamura-Berta wants revenge in turn 3. And he's immediately gone for the lead and grabbed it. So Nakamura-Berta not taking kindly to being out-dragged at the start. So that is a perfect getaway for Hobson, but Nakamura-Berta gets him straight back again. No chance for any recompense. So Nakamura-Berta leads the way. Hobson in 2nd place, down to the braking zone for 6th, and there's a little bit of a jostle now for 3rd and 4th positions. 41 cuts through. That is Connor Duncan to come through into 3rd position with a major slide in 4th position from the 57, Reese Lomax. Well held as the kart goes sideways. And we got 2 of them in trouble. Have come together there in turn 7. That, unfortunately, is the 89 and the 51 that have tagged with each other. That's Gustav Uzhakov and Hayden Eldridge, who were in the top 10. So now the 2 of them have got to fight their way further forward. And neither of them are going to be very happy about that. But they've just got to get on with it and deal with the circumstances. Stationary yellow flag, by the look of it, on the run to 8 and 9, and it's now disappeared from the fray, so I'm not entirely sure what that was for initially, but it looks like we had a couple of drivers down the order. Anyway, Nakamura-Berta leads from Connor Duncan. Reese Lomax in 3rd place now. Wait a second, what has happened to Hobson? Has he got issues with his transponder? Hobson is no longer there in 2nd position. No, Hobson appears to have not come through. I think the reason there was a stationary yellow flag is because Hobson is off the circuit at the 3rd sector. Hobson has disappeared from the fray, and it looks as though he's out of the race. I didn't even see what happened, unfortunately, but Jack Hobson appears to be out of position, having gone off at the 3rd sector. Now, I'm trying to figure out what it is that has caused him to disappear, but he has not come through. So I'm afraid Jack Hobson is out of the race already. Disaster. He got the perfect getaway, beat Nakamura-Berta off the line, and then the Japanese driver retaliated into turn 3, got the lead back. But unfortunately, it looks to me as though Hobson is out of the race. Didn't even see where that happened. But Hobson clearly making a move or 2, or somebody decided to make a move on him, and it's ended in tears. Poor Jack Hobson. The speed was there, guaranteed. But unfortunately, the result and the luck has not come his way. Now, Damien Barris-Haggett has had a bit of an issue with his transponder. He is there in the top 10, so he is still a factor. We'll keep an eye on him. But now, with Hobson's demise, Kiya Nakamura-Berta has a decent lead over Connor Duncan in 2nd place. Reese Lomax is 3rd. There's a bit of a tussle going on between Oscar Toynton up to 4th and Stephen Duncan in 5th. This is another brilliant run from Oscar Teuten. His driving today has been absolutely stellar. And this kid has a genuine chance to go for the victory in the final later. Oh, we've had a spin at turn 6. Recovery very quickly indeed, but unfortunately it doesn't change the fact that Mikey Porter is now having to fight his way back up the order. So a real shame for Mikey. It was going well up until that point, but these mistakes happen. I don't know whether that was self-induced or whether somebody assisted him to get there, but it is still frustrating nevertheless. Across the line and into the first couple of corners. Kia Nakamura-Berta leads the way. Connor Duncan and Rhys Lomax second and third. Teuten has got massive pressure from Stephen Duncan through the first chicane. Under the Litchfield Bridge, they're working together to catch third place though. No point making an overtake if a podium is possible, and Rhys Lomax is not that far up the road. Sixth place is Henry Gregory, then it's Rylan Ekberg from Connor Leishman, Alfie Thompson and Aidan Evans, and then you've got Handley, Shields, forgetting Damien Barris-Haggard of course in 8th place, still having difficulties with the transponder, but Connor Leishman is 9th, 10th is Alfie Thompson, and then it's Evans, Handley, Danny Shields, Jacob Gilman, Miles Turnbull, Aston Sharp, Wesley Swain, Sonny Mortensen, Dylan McKay, and Alexander Hawker. Not a bad run so far from the likes of Kasper Tomilewski. He's there in 21st position. Don't forget that he's not far out of Bambino Racing, so to come into cadets in a field as competitive as this, you do have to be very sharp, and he's done a good job in front of the likes of Oliver Buckton, Hayden Eldridge, who had that problem at the start, Reg Hayward, who's been playing catch-up all weekend, Gustav Uzhakov, and Jai Lawrence were involved in the earlier incidents, of course. But with Jack Hobson out of the race, Kia Nakamura-Berta is being allowed a dominant run to the flag. Although, having said that, Connor Duncan is not letting him get away with this particularly easily. They have set the same lap time on that lap to the 100th of a second. And in actual fact, over the course of the whole race, Connor Duncan is faster than Kia Nakamura-Berta. So Connor Duncan is actually giving a bit of a challenge to Kia Nakamura-Berta. He's not going to have this all his own way. And that's probably going to be very interesting in terms of the final. A very late dice for the move for 6th position. That was a late lunge from Rylan Ekberg. And unfortunately, he overshot. So that's given the place back to Henry Gregory with Damien Barris-Haggard still very much in the mix there in 8th position. So that's a nice little tussle between those three. There's a similar battle for 3rd place now developing because remember Teuten and Duncan working together? Well, they've caught up to Rhys Lomax. So it is going to be tight between those boys as they continue to run together for the victory. They are going to continue charging forward, and it will be a really strong run for them. The battle continues down the straight. Number 5, Kia Nakamura-Berta in front of Connor Duncan. Rhys Lomax, Oscar Teuten, and Stephen Duncan battling away for 3rd position. There's not a lot between them, and a massive dive further back for 6th from Rylan Ekberg up the inside of Henry Gregory, and this time he makes the move stick. Good work from Ekberg. That was not an easy move to take in the first corner. So he's done well there to get into P6. And it looks as though there's some major damage across the line for Miles Turnbull. He's got bodywork rubbing on the wheel on the left rear. So there's a big problem for Miles Turnbull. You can see it when he comes down the back straight, I'm sure. But Miles Turnbull is in major difficulty. Let's have a look as he comes through. Oh, and he's off the road, I think. Is that Miles Turnbull? Certainly we had somebody off the racetrack. And that is... No, that's not Miles Turnbull. That is the 33 that's come off there, unfortunately. So, it might be the 73. Is that Rylan Ekberg? No, Rylan Ekberg is still there in position. My apologies. So, I have a feeling, a little further down the road, trying to get the cart moving again has not worked. And it is the 43. It is Miles Turnbull. I was right the first time. So, Turnbull, sadly, whatever it was that's caused the issue, has ended his race on the back straight. Still, they jostle away for 6th position. Yellow flags are flying, and that's important for Connor Duncan because he's now right on the back of Kia Nakamura-Berta. But there are yellow flags at turn 5, so he can't make the overtake. Kia Nakamura-Berta still trying to push his way further forward down the back straight. Is he going to get his move? He is going to have to work very hard as they jostle for 3rd position. Still, that's now Duncan up into 3rd. Stephen Duncan. Oscar Teuten goes through, and unfortunately for Stephen Duncan, he's on the grass. And that's robbed him of a chance of a podium. He's down to 5th position. A few cart lengths back now from Teuten and Lomax. And those two will battle for the 3rd spot on the podium. And that's really cruel luck for Stephen Duncan. It's so easy to get the cart just a little bit wide. And 2 wheels on the grass is all that's needed to rob him of a chance of a top 3 finish. But Kia Nakamura Berta still has pressure from Connor Duncan. Duncan needs to keep the pressure up. But Kia Nakamura Berta knows now that he goes into the last lap, and he's got tough pressure from Connor Duncan. The V Motorsport driver is not done yet, and Kia Nakamura Berta knows it. Here he goes. He's going to dive for the move on the inside. Connor Duncan takes the lead on the last lap. Perfect timing from Connor Duncan. Absolutely terrific. Not a lot that Kia Nakamura Berta could do about that one. He comes back again, in fact, to take him on the next run. But Connor Duncan's not done yet. Down to the hairpin again. Kia Nakamura Berta is married to the inside line. Connor Duncan trying to get the exit out. Up towards turn 7, the hairpin. Kia Nakamura Berta defends to the inside line. Think about this carefully. You can pitch it and get back to the inside line if you can. But Connor Duncan, is not done yet. He's going to go all over the back of Kia Nakamura Berta with a few corners to go. He drifted through into the lead of the race, but he just ran wide by the look of it on the exit of 3, and that was enough for Nakamura Berta to get back through. It's an easy error, but he'll learn from it next time. Kia Nakamura Berta is going to get the victory once again with Connor Duncan right behind him. A fantastic race for the two of them, but Nakamura Berta keeps the winning streak alive. His 4th win of the season in the Trent Valley Kart Club Winter Series Honda Cadet Championship. Great result. Connor Duncan 2nd. Reese Lomax holds off Oscar Teuten for 3rd position from Stephen Duncan in 5th position in the end. A great battle to the line between Rylan Ekberg and Damien Barris-Haggett. Connor Leishman is 8th place. Alfie Thompson 9th. And Ollie Handley comes through for 10th. With Aidan Evans 11th from Danny Shields and Sonny Mortensen. Unfortunately, Henry Gregory has had a nightmare final lap. And he is out at the same spot as that's the same retirement spot as Miles Turnbull. So Gregory out of the race on the last lap, in fact. What a shame for Henry Gregory. And I guess that he was having a battle with another driver and just ended up clattering together. So a disaster for Henry Gregory. His race ends as well on the last lap. So outside the top 10, Aidan Evans 11th from Danny Shields and Sonny Mortensen. Jacob Gilman 14th from Hayden Eldridge and Aston Sharp. Reg Hayward, Alex Horcutt, Wesley Swain and Jai Lawrence. Josh Rudd, Gustav Ozhikov, Kasper Tomilewski, Brad Bick, Oliver Buckton, Mikey Porter and Dylan Mackay, with retirements, very sadly, from Henry Gregory, Miles Turnbull, and rather dramatically on lap 1, Jack Hobson from the front row of the grid, having made the textbook start. I have no idea what happened to him, but he was gone from the race on the first lap. It must have been up at the Mike Wilson complex, and a real shame it is indeed for poor Jack Hobson, who was having a great run up until that stage, and was looking good for the victory in the early stages at least. But it's particularly frustrating for these two on the back straight, for Henry Gregory and Miles Turnbull, both of them having a very sorry end to their races. Turnbull's kart, I'm not entirely sure, can operate under its own steam. In fact, I'm not sure it can, but I'm not sure about the state of Henry Gregory's kart. But certainly, both of them are very much having a bad day at the office, the way things currently are. And it's a real miserable end to their second heats. They will now have to hope that the karts are usable for the B final, in the hope that they can charge their way through to the front. But very, very exciting stuff, very dramatic stuff in particular, as we come to the Senior Rotax Heat number 2. And after that, of course, it will be the Rotax 177 grid, and that will, of course, take us into the finals. And boy, oh boy, what a great group of races that is going to be. 11 races that will decide the fate of the second round of the Trent Valley Kart Club Winter Series here at PF International on a very cold but very sunny day, which is thawing out the circuit nicely. It's not going to be any slippery parts of the circuit to worry about anymore. But what it definitely does do is it causes a bit of a headache for several of the drivers in the field as they now start to think about what happens next. But a very difficult situation for the two drivers on the back straight as they will be brought home. But there are still 2 more heats to go before we go into the finals. And it's going to be really exciting and intense to see how we're going to get there.
There is no terrible way to win. There is only winning.
Let me drive.
I will make a fool out of you.
Every one of us has to find a reason to do this. You do it because you're driven.
I was beginning to think I'd never be anything more than a piston-happy, lead-foot punk. Then this starts to happen.
Somebody put it in your mind you gotta be perfect every time out or you're a failure. Well, forget that. Just forget it.
You ready to put away your toys and grow up? Are you ready to make more money in 1 year than your father made in his whole life? Are you ready to become a real race car driver?
When I won it was probably the last time I ever felt pure victory.
Because I'm quicker than all of you.
And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver.
I mean, hell, isn't that what we're in this for? To stare death in the face and to cheat it? I mean, come on, there's nobility in that. It's like being knights.
No pressure, nobody breathing down my back, just driving because I left it pure.
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
I just hope when you do, that I'm there to see it.
Racing. That's the name of the game, isn't it? Win or lose, put up or shut up.
Fine. Then let's race.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
So the battle is set to continue here at the Trent Valley Kart Club, the home of British karting, for the second round of the 2019 Winter Series. It's already been a pretty exciting day at the office, but Senior Rotax is being sent out onto the grid now. Let's talk you through the drivers. Reese Hunter and Tom Edmonds, with James Lingard and Ben Donkin on the second row of the grid. From Guy Cunnington and George Holbrook, Kieran Gifford and Ben Burgess. From James Lowther and Alex Baker, then Sam Harrison and Teddy Clinton, Angie Stenning and Travis Coyne, Dan Yowd and Michael Roots, then Sam Sanders and Lewis Smith, George Smith and Thomas Walker, Lewis Halliday and Joseph Hunt, then Ari Barker and Sam Stansbury, James Watson and Dan Jones, Louis Fleet and Jodie Newman, and then Finley Sword and Mackenzie Morris. 8 minutes plus 1 lap on the board once again. The only races that will not be 10 minutes plus 1 lap a little bit later on are the IAMI Cadet and Honda Cadet B finals. They will remain 8 minutes plus 1 lap, with the longest race of the day being the finals, each of which are 10 minutes plus the additional lap in length. And there are just 2 heats to go before we get to that point. Senior Rotax being the first of those. Reese Hunter rejoining his battle, and we'll see what Guy Cunnington and James Lowther can do to get themselves further up the order after their misdemeanors in the first heat. And obviously it will be very tough to see how they go now that they are, of course, seniors. The answer so far is incredibly quick indeed, but they've now got to transfer that into results for this second race after very disappointing ends to their first heat. They've now got to charge their way back through, so let's see what happens. The revs will rise, and we're going to get ready for the action once again, and it's a perfect start from Reese Hunter, who leads the way through the first corner, charging through the chicane and under the Litchfield Bridge. They storm their way through. Reese Hunter from Tom Edmonds, no problems at all as they come up the top of the hill into the square left over the top of the Litchfield Bridge. There's yellow flags though, yellow flags under the Litchfield Bridge, so there's clearly been an incident or two with 1 or 2 of the drivers. Oh, and there's a kart in trouble on the exit of 5. Somebody's in dire straits, and that is the 34. That is the 34, and that of course is Sam Sanders, the privateer. So problems already on the first lap, and it looks as though we've lost another couple of drivers in the mix. Joseph Hunt might be one of them, or Ari Barker is the one that struggled to come through, but the yellow flag has been withdrawn. So they are down the order, but they have now got going again, and it is the 14 of Ari Barker of Howarth Racing that was in the war zone on the first lap. So out of the final turn comes your race leader. It is Reese Hunter, who leads the way for the moment. Over the line, and in second place, it's Guy Cunnington again with a furious start. James Lingard third from Gifford, then Edmonds, Donkin, George Holbrook, James Lowther, Angie Stenning and Ben Burgess. So Guy Cunnington is definitely out to prove that that first race performance was not a fluke. He wants to keep the pace as hungry and as feisty as ever. So he is going to continue pushing his weight around, and he wants to get a really strong result. So let's see how he goes about it. Down the short stretch, up into the hairpin for turn 7, and back onto the short stretch for the chicane. Getting closer all the time. Guy Cunnington to Reese Hunter. We know how that ended last time. They came together. Both races were over in an instant. Can they stay out of each other's war zone this time? Into Mike Wilson. Through the complex. And now up to the chicane. Through the left and through the right. And they've got company because both James Lingard and Kieran Gifford are close back. Gifford got involved in an incident in race 1, if you remember, as well. And he now needs to have a top 3 finish if he wants to stand a good chance of being in the finals later. Or at least being in a strong position of the final. They're all going to get there. But it's important to make sure that they get themselves into a strong position later. So here comes Guy Cunnington, waiting for his opportune moment. He knows what happened the last time he went for a big, bold move on Reese Hunter. So he'll want to time it right. Doesn't go for the move when it was definitely potentially there. And there was a chance for Guy Cunnington to come through and go for the move that time. Third position is now Kieran Gifford. He manages to get through into third place ahead of James Lingard. Edmonds, Donkin, Holbrook, Burgess, Lowther and Harrison are all still very much in the mix. And don't forget, it was Ben Burgess who got the victory in the first heat earlier on when the shenanigans really kicked off. So he finds himself now down in about 8th position for the moment. So it could be a very topsy-turvy grid once all of the aggregate points are calculated. Reese Hunter has Guy Cunnington going for the lead. He hesitates but decides, no, I am going to commit to it, and gets up the inside. Guy Cunnington comes through. So Guy Cunnington takes the lead as they go over the Litchfield Bridge. He is now in front. And it looks as though he's not the only one to have made the move. No, Hunter's got him back again, and that's allowed Gifford to come through. Lingard got squeezed out as a result. So Hunter is still your leader. Gifford in second place. Third is Cunnington. Fourth is Edmonds, the 15. And then in fifth place is the 48 of Ben Donkin, who was second in the earlier heat. So he is looking good for a front row start if he can stay top 5. And we've had an off at the 7th corner at this second hairpin. That's the 21 going off. That is a disaster for Tom Walker. So Tom Walker, unfortunately, has ended up off the road, and that has dropped him considerably down the order. Here we go again as Reese Hunter leads the way through. Second position for the 71 of Kieran Gifford. Guy Cunnington right underneath him. Cunnington's going to try and jink out for the move. And he's going to get a bit of pressure because Tom Edmonds is going to try and make a late lunge as well. Can Tom Edmonds get through? He might get a chance into turn 5. He is there. Brilliantly done from Tom Edmonds. Through the right-hander square, gets through. Now Guy Cunnington's under pressure round the far side. A very strong move into the braking zone as up to 4th goes Ben Donkin. Terrific work from the persistence driver. A very late lunge for the move from Gifford as he makes the move for the lead on Reese Hunter. Almost squeezing him out for the position there. And now again, Reese Hunter comes back. Tries to go for the move as they go into Bobby Game corner. And Reese Hunter gets the move back. He retakes the lead. Wow, Reese Hunter doesn't want to spend longer than 10 seconds in second position today. He wants the win going away and is absolutely determined and ruthless to get there. So Guy Hunter leads. Gifford second. Third is Edmonds. Fourth is Donkin. Fifth is now Cunnington. In front of Holbrook, Burgess and Harrison. Then James Lingard. James Lowther is 10th from Baker, Stenning, Coyne and Dan Yowd. Michael Roots running well as well in 15th position from Halliday and Stansbury. And the battle continues as down to 4th has gone Reese Hunter. Yes, it is Reese Hunter now. Diving up the inside, that is Edmonds for the lead. Edmonds has come through. Donkin is now second. It's a proper squabble and a change of the pack as they continue to tussle away. Edmonds, Donkin, Gifford is third now. 4th is Hunter, Cunnington 5th, and in 6th place, that's Ben Burgess. So a real shuffle of the deck in the top 8, and they are well clear of everybody else. Sam Harrison has joined the back of that queue in the 698 race team, but the 698 cart is not going to be in 8th position for long if he keeps this kind of progress. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job. So down the straight, here we go again, up on the inside, and that's a beautiful sweep from Donkin into turn 1. He gets the lead up in front of Tom Edmonds. Gifford in third from Hunter, Cunnington, Burgess, Holbrook and Harrison. Now they drift up over the bridge, through the square left, through the square right, dropping down the hill, and there's a mechanical problem. It's all done and dusted for George Smith of the Liam Wright Racing team. He pirouettes to a standstill on the exit of turn 1. And he's absolutely furious. No surprises at all. A very disappointed Liam Walker. George Smith. I'm not sure why I said Liam Walker. I do apologise. George Smith having a big moment there on the way down the straight. And it's all game over for him. What a shame for the Liam Wright racing driver. That's why I said Liam Wright. So through to the Mike Wilson complex they come, out of the final chicane, and it's still Ben Donkin who leads the way, having stolen the lead. He won the earlier race. He fought for the win in the earlier race, I should say, and was second. If he can get a win now, that really would sort him out, but Kieran Gifford's going for the lead on the inside of him. My apologies, that's not... So much has happened in this race, it's been hard to follow, but Edmonds is now into the lead of the race, I do believe, in the 15 for KR Sport. He is there in the lead. Down to the braking zone again. Reese Hunter has got himself back into third position now. Donkin in second. Fourth is Cunnington. Fifth is Burgess. Really struggling to get onto the tail. Reese Hunter is really struggling under brakes to get the kart stopped as he rubs the bumper of Guy Cunnington. Nothing malicious, just a gentle rub. And as they come through to turn 10, through Bobby Game corner, still pushing very hard indeed as the racing continues in the midfield. The squabble is still strong. With 10 seconds left, it might go into an additional lap here, actually. I think we're going to get 2 laps to go, not 1 lap to go. Yes, there's 5 seconds left as they cross the line. So Edmonds leads Donkin and Hunter, and they're very close together. Hunter having a look for the victory, but he's not going to get through through turn 3. He might set it up for 4, though. He's got pressure from Cunnington and Burgess behind him as well. Out of the fifth corner they come, down the back straight, up to the braking zone. Watch out for Reese Hunter. He's gone round the outside of Donkin and now trying to outbrake Edmonds round the outside for 6. He's not quite there, but he is in second. And here comes Burgess alongside Cunnington behind Donkin. Cunnington manages to find some space on the inside and goes for third position. Brilliant. Holbrook's made a door for the inside as well and gone up to fourth position. Burgess now throws it up the inside of Donkin for 5th. But that was such a squabble. All of that, and it now means that Tom Edmonds is down the order once more. It's not Tom Edmonds that's down the order once more. My apologies. It is Donkin that's down the order once more. Edmonds is your leader. Hunter's right behind him as they start the last lap. Here we go. Cunnington in 3rd. Holbrook in 4th. Watch out for both of them. Up to the braking zone. That is a big lunge from Burgess to get up the inside there. Sam Harrison's in the mix now as well. Sorry, it's not Burgess, it's Harrison who's up to 5th position. They squabble down the hill once again. And it's Edmonds in front of Hunter. Cunnington trying to make a way up the inside. 4th position, that is still George Holbrook. And in 5th, that's Harrison in front of Donkin. Is there going to be a late lunge? Yes, there is from Holbrook on the inside of Cunnington. Cunnington's got the speed out of the turn, though. He remains 3rd. I think Edmonds has done enough here, but Reese Hunter thinks otherwise. Down to Bobby Game corner. The Mike Wilson complex is coming. Is there going to be a late lunge from Reese Hunter? Does he think he's got what it takes to get the lead of the race? He's trying. He's right underneath Tom Edmonds as they come into the final section of the lap. Out of the final turn, the checkered flag is ready, but I think Edmonds is going to get there. Yes, he does. Reese Hunter 2nd. 3rd for Cunnington. 4th for George Holbrook. Harrison is a valiant 5th position. 6th is Ben Donkin. All of them covered by less than a second. 7th for Gifford, 8th for Lowther, 9th for Stenning, and 10th for Alex Baker. Gripping stuff again in Senior Rotax. It never, ever gets dull in this class. Absolutely terrific. 11th for Travis Coyne from James Lingard in 12th. Halliday 13th from Ben Burgess. Dan Yowd and Michael Roots. Sam Stansbury and Joseph Hunt from Dan Jones and Lewis Smith in the top 20. Then James Watson and Finlay Sword. Jodie Newman and Tom Walker. Sam Sanders and Mackenzie Morris. And then Ari Baker and Louis Fleet with just the 2 retirements. George Smith that you heard about, he pulled off at turn 1 in rather disappointing circumstances. He'll be very disappointed indeed with that. And failing to complete the first lap was Teddy Clinton, in fact, the 45. Didn't see what happened to him, but I think he may have come off the circuit up on the 3rd sector of the course. That's the Mike Wilson complex. So we'll double check, but an end of the race for them at least, and that's not the way they wanted it to be. Now the mechanics are going to retrieve Henry Gregory's Honda Cadet that was obviously placed there on the back straight a couple of races ago. They didn't quite have time to go and recover it before the Senior Rotax field came around. They do have time now before the last heat of the day gets underway, and that of course is the Rotax 177 heat grid. And after that race, it's finals time, and we'll start with the B finals, of course, kicking off with Ayami Cadet Then we'll go into the Junior X30A final, so we'll find out who their second title winner of the weekend, or of the season, is. Then it'll be the Honda Cadet B final, and then we'll go into the Junior Rotax, Mini X30, Mini Max and Junior TKM, Senior X30, Ayami, Rotax Max, Honda and Rotax 177 finals, and that will close us out on what has been a very exciting weekend, a very cold and very chilly one, but nonetheless epic in terms of racing. They really have put on a great show at the home of British karting, Trent Valley Kart Club. An amazing performance from not just the drivers, but all of the officials as well, from everybody in timekeeping out on the circuit, the likes of Nigel Edwards, Martin Bean, the Manchesters, everybody who's been working very hard indeed to make sure everybody's been working very hard. And of course, on race control, front of house, and everybody in the stewarding office as well. They've all been absolutely terrific. So far, so good. Let's keep the meeting flowing beautifully as we get ourselves ready now for Rotax 177, their last heat before we get to the finals. It's going to be really exciting and great to see how everybody is working for the rest of the weekend. But here they come, Adam Sadler and Chris Thomas on the front row of the grid from Joe Bleakley and Chris Wright. Louis Large and Luke Oliver are on row 3 from Charlie Whaley and Ian Branfield. Sean Smith and Aaron Yao are there on the 5th row of the grid from Carl Churchill and Ross Meakin, Tim Darlow and John Scott, Rob Carter, Will Davies and Mark Wingad. That's where we are at the moment, and obviously the 17 drivers are getting themselves ready for an action-packed brigade. So we'll have some really great racing, some close battles from the team as they continue to give us plenty of entertainment. So the drivers are obviously wanting to have a really close race. Adam Sadler took a victory by fighting his way back into contention in the earlier heat. He'll want to do the same job again in race number 2 without having to drop the positions in the first place, of course. So the Rotax 177 brigade is about to get ready for another epic start. So let's see how it all progresses. It will be an exciting race, that is for definite. But in Rotax 177, you have no idea how it's going to go. It is tough. The attrition rate is sometimes high, but the driving talent is immense. Sadler, Thomas, Bleakley, Wright, Large, Oliver, all 6 of them in the top 6 of the grid could win this race very easily indeed. Let's get a good start. They're in the tram lines. Perfect. What a great getaway. Oh, and a call there from the number 2 to restart, but they've flagged the race to start it again. They've flagged the race to start it, so that's fine. Interestingly, Chris Thomas was calling for a restart, but that was a clean getaway as far as they were concerned. So the race continues on. Adam Sadler takes the lead. Bleakley in second place. Thomas is third, and he quickly forgets the call for the restart because now he's obviously got to battle for second position, and he's going to get a great run off the turn from Bleakley. Bleakley's going to dive the car back up the inside, and Chris Thomas spurts out of turn 7 and gets himself back in his second place. Great run. So Thomas back in his second position. He's lost nothing off the start. He didn't like the start, obviously, and wanted to restart it, but that's not going to be the way. So up through the far corners on the far side of the circuit and out of the final chicane. Into the main straight. Adam Sadler leads the way. Chris Thomas in second place. It looks unchanged on the timing screen, but it has been an entertaining first lap as Bleakley goes for broke into the first corner and dives up the inside of Thomas. So nearly a collision. Thomas comes straight back at him and goes straight back in his second position. Great battling between these 2 early doors. My goodness. As soon as one makes a move, the other says, I don't think so, mate. You know who I am. Down the back straight, Joe Bleakley. Third position, trying to fend off Luke Oliver. He was the winner of the final 4 weeks ago. And then comes Louis Large. 5th position. Luke Oliver goes for the move on Bleakley. Louis Large uses the same gap to go through in turn 7. And they now go up to the chicane. So Luke Oliver up to 3rd. Louis Large up to 4th. Bleakley is 5th. 6th position. That looks to me still like Chris Wright. So they are battling away together. But what a battle it is going to get between these 5-6 drivers at the top end of the field. Adam Sadler still leads Thomas. Oliver, then Large. This is going to get pretty ferocious. If Joe Bleakley has anything to say about it, though, he'll be very frustrated that he couldn't hold the position on Chris Thomas. But for Adam Sadler, it's absolute dominance out front at the moment. He's got the handle of the kart and the circuit, and he's looking absolutely invincible out there. He just needs to keep up this momentum. So far, so good. Fastest in the first sector is actually Ross Meakin. He did a 21.23 on that first lap. Second sector fastest overall is Adam Sadler. And now third, it's the number 1, Louis Large, in the third sector. Although now Chris Thomas is the fastest of all in sector 1 as he tries to close up on the race leader, Adam Sadler. Luke Oliver, third position. Louis Large, fourth position. Joe Bleakley and Chris Wright still pushing very hard indeed as they continue to work their magic. So they need to push further up on the far side as they come through the right-hander. And it's going to be very tough from here on in. Let's see how it continues to progress. Out they come through the final chicane and down the main straight, looking for a good run. 5 on the clock, and there's still plenty of racing to be had. Sadler, Thomas and Oliver. Louis Large is right behind him in fourth position, sorry. Now he's third, though, because he dives up the inside into turn 3 and makes the move stick. No, he doesn't. Luke Oliver's going to retaliate straight away. And that's enough for Chris Wright now to get onto the back of them. 3 of them squabbling over third. Louis Large determined to get past Luke Oliver. And there's a little bit of a nerve between them two as they are basically out braking and brake testing each other by the look of it. Louis Large is absolutely fuming. And as a result, there's an invitation for Chris Wright to get up the inside. Louis Large is not happy at all with Luke Oliver. Shook his fist at him down the back straight. And I wonder if he basically is accusing him there of brake testing him on the run to turn 6. Well, we're not really going to know the answer until afterwards. If there's a front fairing penalty or 2 to go, then there might be an argument to be had. But for the moment, Louis Large is frustrated, sat behind Luke Oliver. Down the main straight they come again. And Louis Large is absolutely determined to go for Luke Oliver. He's going to spit out the side, is he? No, doesn't go for the move this time through 3. Wants to stay right with him. As they come over the bridge, he may want to start a move into the right-hander of the square right. No, he's not going to get through there. Luke Oliver just watching brief on Louis Large, trying to figure out where he's going to be. Chris Wright is right behind them as well. Meanwhile, Thomas has caught right up to Adam Sadler for the lead of the race. There's going to be a big battle, and Sadler is already on the defensive. We've got 3.5 minutes to go, and Sadler is defending. Well, he doesn't need to be doing that just yet. But he clearly feels that Thomas is going to be fast enough to take a victory away from him if he doesn't start to hold him back. So, very interesting dynamics are now present in Rotax 177, as unfortunately Rob Carter is out of the race. So there's no more from Rob Carter in this heat. Down the straight, Chris Thomas all over the back of Adam Sadler through the first chicane. Oliver Large and Wright are still very much fighting for third position, and Sadler again defends Chris Thomas into the inside of turn 3. He's not going to hold him back for long like this. This is an invitation for trouble as Chris Wright has got past Louis Large for 4th position. And again, Chris Thomas is basically gesturing to Sadler. What are you doing? Why are you defending? Work with me. Let's get away from the pack. But Sadler is defending and backing Thomas back into the pack. And now Chris Thomas has got to go for the move. Otherwise, the 3 drivers behind are going to make a move for him. So Thomas is getting frustrated, sat behind Sadler. He's going for the move into Bobby Game, and he's got it. So he's into the lead, and that's a chance for Luke Oliver to try and creep in as well. But Sadler is hanging on by a thread now to 2nd place. Thomas has got through into the lead, and there's a massive mechanical problem for the 64, sadly, of Sean Smith. So Smith is going to be out of the race. Oliver tries to make a go for Sadler, doesn't make the move stick, and now there's 5 of them going for the lead. That's what Thomas was annoyed about. Chris Thomas did not want to be in this situation with 4 drivers snapping at his heels. He wanted to get away from Sadler and then start to pressurize him at the end of the race. But Sadler has basically, he's ignoring Thomas now. Thomas was gesturing, come on, we need to get away. Sadler's through, Oliver's through, Wright is nearly through as well, and Thomas chops across Wright. Now that could end up being a bit of an issue with the front fairing for Chris Wright. There's not a lot that can be done about it now, and Thomas comes off and takes Chris Wright. Chris Wright clatters into him. Thomas has got problems. Chris Wright goes into the barriers and pirouettes sideways. Problems too for the 10 of Charlie Whaley as he slows down. It's an absolute disaster for Chris Wright. He clatters into the side of Chris Thomas as Thomas breaks down. And there's nothing Chris Wright can do about it. 2 laps to go. And Sadler leads Luke Oliver, Louis Large and Joe Bleakley. Thomas out. Wright out. Drama in the extreme as Chris Thomas pulls off the circuit. Chris Wright basically had 2 choices, go left or go right. In hindsight, he should have gone left, but but he went right. And Chris Thomas says, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take you out, mate. Chris Wright says, it's okay, it happens. But it's such a dramatic-looking accident. Fortunately, the two of them are okay. No need to halt things. But that race, accident looked far more spectacular than the repercussions of it actually were. So fortunately, Chris Wright is okay. But that was a big, big accident. He's all right. He's unhurt. But that's definitely one that if people were filming it, that'll go viral tomorrow. Down the main straight and into the last lap we go. And Luke Oliver now leads the race, having got past Adam Sadler. But Sadler's not giving up. Sadler's going to try again. Oliver now defending the inside line at turn 3 as Sadler is fighting to get the undercut. Watch out for Louis Large, boys. He is looming large in the rear. So he's going to try and fight for his position to come through. Luke Oliver goes defensive. Round the outside, Sadler tries a big lunge up the inside from Louis Large. He gets second position. Good move from Large. Now he's going to try again on Oliver. He breaks early to counteract Oliver's defense. And Large has a great chance of victory now. He might get some support here from Sadler. Into the chicane. Off the curb. And up towards Bobby Game. Into the right-hander. Mike Wilson is going to be a very tricky place to get an overtake. And it's too early in the weekend to go for a bold lunge. So I think they're going to have to cope with it as it is. It's going to be a victory for Luke Oliver. He won the final 4 weeks ago. Can he win it this time? It's a victory for Luke Oliver. Louis Large in second. Third is the 67 of Adam Sadler. Fourth for Joe Bleakley. Fifth is Aaron Yao in front of Ross Meakin and Ian Branfield. With Carl Churchill in 8th place. Tim Darlow comes home for 9th in front of Will Davies and John Scott. Mark Wingard will be the last man home in 12th position. But attrition was high in that one. Rob Carter retiring on lap 4. Sean Smith with a mechanical problem. And then on the same lap, Charlie Whaley, Chris Wright, and Chris Thomas clatter out of the race. In Chris Wright's particular incident, that was enough to make him an airline pilot. I mean, he could already pass the audition for the Red Arrows if he wanted to. That was pretty spectacular. So, fortunately, he's okay, but that will be a very nasty shock to the system. But the main thing is he walks away from the accident and even recovers his own kart. So that is the heats all done and dusted with here today. And so now we make our way to the next port of call, which is the finals. This is what we came here to do all weekend long, and this is what the drivers have been thinking about since Friday afternoon. They wanted to come to these races to put on a show, and we will start with the IARMY Cadet B final. This is the last chance for the cadets to put themselves into the A final, which is later on in the day. So that's going to be pretty intense, as there's a lot of talent in this field that are going to want to push their way further forward up the grid. And all of them will want to be in that top 6. Of course, it is only the top 6 drivers that cross the line in the B final that will make it through to the A final race later on. But there's not a lot of places to get to that point. It is going to be tricky. There's a lot of talent on this grid that's already struggled to make the impression. But the IARMY Cadet B final is now upon us, and it's going to be a really exciting race. So let's talk you through that Cadet B final grid. It's going to be Ryan Ward and George Robinson on the front row of the grid from Ben Folland and Fraser Anderson, Jay Holtby and Leo Jackson from Sky Parker and Alfie Slater, Will Murta and Connor Grant, Jack Cunningham and Cathal Clark from George Edgar and Ben Smith, Cole Glover and Joel Billington, Alex Biles and Jack Moat from Eddie Hayes and Freddie Allen, and then Will Antrobus and Michael Walker. So all of the drivers out there putting themselves into a good position for the B final. They all want to make it through to the A, but only the first 6 drivers across the line are going to make it. There's a lot of talent in this field. A lot of them are still in baby steps in their IARMY Cadet careers, of course, but it's races like this where you learn how to win that could make a big playing field. We've had contact on the rolling lap. 2 karts clattering together, 3 karts clattering together on the rolling lap. Now that's the 70 and the 86 that have come together. That's Michael Walker and Freddie Allen. And there's a 3rd kart that is actually stopped stationary out on the back straight. That is Joel Billington. Yet more bad luck for Joel Billington. What does this guy have to do to cut a break? He's got so much hard work and determination in those shoes of his, but he's pulling off, and Joel Billington's weekend, I'm afraid to say, has come to an end. That's such a shame. Well, I think they're encouraging him. You can go and join at the back of the grid if you can get there, mate, but I don't think he's going to have the time to get his original position. So Joel Billington, I think his weekend is over. Out they come onto the main straight, unless, of course, this start isn't particularly clean, but it is, and away we go. And it's a cracking start for the 82. Charges through from third on the grid. Ben Folland gets an absolute flyer into the lead straight off the bat under the Litchfield Bridge. So Ben Folland takes the early lead in the B final, as Joel Billington does choose to continue. But he's got a lot of a fight to go to catch up to the rest of the field. Now there's a bit of a squabble as the drivers are starting to work their way through. Alfie Slater is charging his way forward and is squeezed down the straight onto the grass and off again. Alfie Slater, such bad luck this weekend. And yet again, Alfie Slater is plumb rum out of luck. Oh, what a shame for Alfie Slater. He's absolutely distraught. Well, he's still learning. And he has proven, as far as I'm concerned, that there's definitely the same speed as his older brother, Freddie, regularly shows. But for Alfie Slater, he's going to have to learn the hard way. What a shame. He can't get going again. He's on the grass, on the back straight. And he's going to lose at least a lap in the attempt to get going again. What a shame for Alfie Slater. Meanwhile, out of the final turn, the racing continues with Ben Folland in the lead of the race after an absolutely stunning start. George Robinson second from Ryan Ward and Jay Holtby. Then it's Cathal Clark from Connor Grant and Sky Parker, who is one place away from making it into the A final. So they're going to keep pushing and seeing if she can get there, but it's obviously going to be very tight. Well, Alfie Slater continues on his way, having lost practically a lap. He will have lost a lap by the time the leaders come around. George Robinson goes for the lead into turn 6, the hairpin. Nicely done. See, for these guys, winning a race is still high pressure, but passing both of them is Ryan Ward. Ryan Ward has got them both on the exit. Terrific work from Ryan Ward. He's really read the situation superbly there and has got himself straight back into the action. So Ward is your leader. Second place is George Robinson from Folland, Holtby, Clark, Grant and Parker. The top 6 are the ones that go through to the A final later. So a lot of the other A final drivers are sat at the side of the circuit watching to see who's going to join them. Through they come with Ryan Ward very much now controlling the pace of the race in the lead of this race. It's the top 4 that go through. My apologies, not the top 6. So it's only the top 4 that go through to the A final. So obviously, with few places to get through, you've got to make it through to that top 4. Under the Litchfield Bridge and swarming round up the top 3. Out through turn 4 of the Litchfield Bridge. They've got Alfie Slater's kart in front of them. But, of course, he has now moved over and let them go by. Or at least he will do. I'm not sure if he has done just yet. Ryan Ward is still the race leader for the time being. Oh, no, yes, he is still there. But now he has to move over and let the leaders come through. Heartbreaking for Alfie Slater. But he wants to get some track time in. Ryan Ward leads from Robinson, Folland, Holtby. And then it's Cathal Clark, who is the next man in. Alfie Slater, ever the sportsman, lets the field go and waits until there's space to come back. And again, and a spin from the 73 out of turn 7. That is Alex Biles. Alex Biles has spun, gets the kart going again, but unfortunately has lost ground to the drivers around him. So a real shame, unfortunately, there for Alex Biles, the Sam Pollitt Racing driver, spinning out of 7. Ryan Ward leads, though, from Ben Folland in second now, from George Robinson and Cathal Clark. Cathal Clark is looking likely to be the man who will get there into position for the PMR team. It's all looking good from their point of view as they continue to charge forward. So Ryan Ward is your leader. Folland in second, Robinson third, and Cathal Clark. No, Clark is up to third now. So Cathal Clark is now third position for PMR. And that is a really good run from Cathal so far. Still putting in a really good show at the moment in third position. So it's going to continue with an awful lot of strong performances from the drivers at this point. They are still having an amazing run. It is going to be quite difficult as they continue to charge forward. Some good performances from these guys. This is where you learn very much on the job. You have to try and figure out how you're going to move your way through the field. But an absolutely terrific display so far from Cathal Clark, putting on an absolutely terrific show. And obviously, he is still making great gains and great progress. And obviously, now he's in third position. He'll want to keep pushing. He'll have ingested all of the information from Paul Munn back in the pits to try and get him that little bit further forward. So let's see if it's doable for second place. Cathal Clark has a look into turn 4. It's not quite going to get through this time. So they have to work again for another angle. But it's Ryan Ward from Ben Follen and Cathal Clark. Here comes Clark up the inside. Not too determined to get through there just in case, but a top 4 finish is good enough to get through to the A final. You don't want to risk anything too much. So up to the braking zone again. Out through turn 7 and onto the short stretch to the chicane. Ryan Ward leads the B final in the Army Cadet. Ben Folland is second. Cathal Clark is third. And fourth place is George Robinson. At this moment, those are the 4 that are going through. So still an interesting battle. Still lots of racing to be had. Fifth is Holtby. Then Cunningham is sixth. From Jackson, Connor Grant, Will Murter and Fraser Anderson. From Sky Parker and George Edgar. Out of the final corner. And still the B final continues unabated. 2 minutes on the clock. And it looks like there's a 5-second penalty being handed out. It's certainly there on the digiboard. But I can't see who it's going to. So we'll have to double check and see if that gets handed to anybody in particular later on. But I can't see a number on the digiboard, so I'll let you know if I know anything. Ryan Ward from Ben Folland and Cathal Clark is the order at the moment. Those 3 looking likely to go through to the A final as things currently stand. Cathal Clark looks for a move potentially on Ben Folland. You see, at this stage of your career, you're just getting that first sense of how to race and how to run at the front. It is tough. You've got to really time it right. And this is the first time you're really getting those choice, brave maneuvers to go for positions. Cathal Clark again has a little bit of a look on Ben Folland, decides to dissipate out of the move and lets the leaders continue on in first and second. Now, a warning flag has gone out to Eddie Hayes. Didn't see what he has done to cause that, but he is knocked in an amazing battle at the moment between Joel Billington, Michael Walker, and the other man in the mix there as well is Freddie Allen. So Eddie Hayes is in that gaggle of drivers. And there's another warning flag that's gone out. It's for the 76. Now that is Cole Glover. And also for the 79, that's Eddie Hayes again, of course. So that's the original infringement. That's the original warning. So both of those 2 drivers then have been given a warning now for incidents in the race, I'm guessing. But here comes Ben Folland. Another chance to go for the lead on Ryan Ward. He's going to break into the hairpin for turn 6 and gets there. Nicely done. Ward is going to try and come out the other side and gets the lead back again. But watch out. Here comes Cathal Clark. He's going to try and take them on, both of them. And he gets the lead. Brilliant from Cathal Clark. He's got them both. Now, Ben Folland might want to commit to the inside line for the chicane. He's not there. Cathal Clark gets a little bit of a rub and drops the second as a result, maybe third, potentially even fourth if it goes the way of the driver in there in third place, and it does. That's Jay Holtby. So Cathal Clark so nearly took the lead of the B final there, but just in the rhythm of the rhyme, unfortunately, he drops back into fourth position, but that's still good enough to make the A final if he could stay in the top 4. He's coming back. Another crack at the 89 and through past Jay Holtby goes Cathal Clark. Well, he's doing a good job, Cathal Clark, at the moment. He just needs to keep hungry and stay on it. The 2 leaders are battling away side by side for the victory, and it's a change of lead again as Ben Folland has been passed once more by Ryan Ward. Cathal Clark's got another chance. He's in third position. He's got an opportunity, and George Robinson has caught up to Jay Holtby. He may steal the final place in the A final. Out of 6. The short run to the hairpin at 7. Who's going to make the brave maneuver? Well, so far, George Robinson's unable to get the move on Jay Holtby. Holtby tries to chop across. Robinson's going to try one more time. This is the difference, fourth position, between making it to the A final and going home early. And the leaders run wide. Ryan Ward, that's caught out Folland. Folland's going to try and sweep. Cathal Clark's trying to come in for the far side as well. The last chance through the final few corners. And it looks to me as though the top three are going to stay as they are, but there was a little twitch which suggested that maybe Folland was not going to be quite so secure, but Ryan Ward is going to get the victory. Second for Ben Folland, nearly across the line. Cathal Clark is frustrated, but comes through in third place nonetheless. Jay Holtby in fourth. Well, a very frustrated Cathal Clark. I think he knew that he had a potential to win the B final right there in his lap, and circumstance held him back. So frustration as across the line, Ben Folland shuts the door in him getting second place. But it's Ward, Folland, Clark and Holtby that cross the line in the top four. George Robinson is fifth from Jack Cunningham, Leo Jackson and Fraser Anderson. Will Murtagh and Sky Parker rounding out the top 10 from George Edgar in 11th. And then it's Ben Smith, Cole Glover, Will Antrobus, Connor Grant, Jack Mowat, Joel Billington, Michael Walker, Freddie Allen, Eddie Hayes, Alex Biles, and Alfie Slater, who, despite being 4 laps down, emerges to finish the race. That is very character building indeed from Alfie Slater, and full credit to him for doing so. It's not easy when you've had an incident like that. It can be very soul-destroying, but Alfie has done the right thing. He's got back on the horse, he's got back into the race, and he's kept pushing around the circuit. You've got to learn while on the job. That's the tricky thing about this sport. You have to learn by doing. So well done to Alfie Slater for keeping going, despite the end to the race that he didn't want. But good effort nonetheless, and it's Ryan Ward, Ben Folland, Cathal Clark and Jay Holtby that will hopefully go through, barring any investigations, will go through to the A final later. Congratulations to all 4 of them. So now it is finals time, and it's the Junior X30 final. This is going to be a race for the winter. Genuinely, everybody wants to get this one won. Here is the grid. Alessandro Sananetti lines up beside Reggie Dewey, with Will Murdoch in third and Sam Shaw in fourth. Tom Edgar and Lucas Ellingham are on the third row, from Alicia Barrett and Daryl Taylor. Dan Butterworth and Blake Anglis round out the top 10, from Josh McLean and Harvey Charter. Then Tom Leben and Oliver Duffel, Marcus Littlewood and Oren England, from Josh Torpey and TJ McDonnell, Alex Moody and Zach Meakin, from Archie Mace, Tyler Reed, Scott Sumpton, Charlie Rippin, Luke Barham, Will Orton, Harry Cottrell, Oscar Joyce, Carly Atkins and Reese Newburn. Now, according to the timing screen I've got in front of me, Charlie Rippin has not taken the start. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether the 121 is out there or if he's just got transponder issues. I'll double check as we look through the field. No, he is out there. Charlie Rippin is definitely out there, so clearly an issue there with his transponder. So it's good to see that all of the drivers will be taking the start of the race. And of course, with it being the A final, 10 minutes plus 1 additional lap will decide who takes the second round of Junior X30 here at the Trent Valley Kart Club's Winter Series. Last time out, it was a win for Joe Taylor ahead of Georgi Dimitrov and Lucas Ellingham. Neither of the first two are, well, the top 3 are out of that one. The leading man home after that was Tom Edgar. Can he charge his way through? Let's find out. A cracking start through the first chicane, and it's clean as a whistle. No problems at all as they charge up the hill. The leading driver on track last time out 4 weeks ago was Tom Edgar. He is in the mix, but let's see if he can get his way up to the front with the likes of Serenetti and Dewey side by side, nearly battling for the victory. Will Murdoch is third position as they charge through. Reggie Dewey trying to come right round the outside of Serenetti already. Now chops back for the undercut. Serenetti and Dewey are side by side already, and it looks like they're going to do this all the way through. Dewey now gets the switchback out of 7 as they go up to the chicane. Serenetti backs out of it. Lets Dewey take the lead because he's playing the long game. But Reggie Dewey takes the lead. And it's a great tussle further back as everybody keeps it nice and clean through the first few corners. But Reggie Dewey hits the front in the RS kart as they squabble for the early doors positions. So Dewey is your leader. Serenetti second. Murdoch is third. In fourth place, that looks like Tom Edgar. So Edgar has had a cracking start once again. And the 52 is looking good to close up on the top 3. If he can get there, it's another strong run. Then it's Sam Shaw, who had that brilliant run in the second heat, if you remember. Lucas Ellingham in 6th. From Alicia Barrett up to 7th. Josh McLean, Harvey Charter and Blake Anglis. From Taylor, Butterworth, Duffel, Reed, Leben, Littlewood and Moody. Down to the braking zone for 6 in the hairpin. The top 3 so close together. Serenetti going for a move on Dewey, but trying to actually to edge him away from the man in third place, Will Murdoch. They want to get away from him rather than battle for the victory. They just want to stretch out the lead, these two. But Will Murdoch is right there. He wants the piece of this. Yellow flags because we've had an off on the exit of the hairpin at turn 6. Now that, I'm afraid to say, is Charlie Rippin. So the 121 has had a very difficult start to his weekend. It's not really been beneficial to him as the weekend has progressed. But Charlie Rippin, sadly, is out of the race. Dewey, Serenetti and Murdoch. Edgar, Ellingham and Shaw. Barrett, McLean, Charter and Anglis in the top 10. And I spoke too soon about the 121 of Charlie Rippin. He has continued, although Oliver Duffel has had an incident with Tyler Reid and Tom Leben. The three of them have dropped to the back of the field. I didn't see what happened there. I think that was actually in the third sector. They've all struggled there. Oh, Tom Leben had an incident in the first sector by the look of it, and Reid and Duffel came together in sector 1 as well. So they were possibly involved in that incident with Charlie Rippin as well. I only saw Rippin's kart stationary, so that's how that incident ended, but I don't really know how it developed in the first place. And we've got a spin at turn 8, facing the wrong way. That is Alicia Barrett. She was having a really strong race up until that point, right up in the top 8. And it was looking to be a really strong performance from her. Yet again, she's had bad luck. Most of 2018, she had races like that, and it's going the same way again in 2019. There's no arguing about her speed. She is a top 10 runner every time, but she just needs the luck to fall the right way as well. And unfortunately, this time, she is bang out of luck. Now, down the straight, Serenetti and Dewey still edging away from the rest of the field. They still want to pull out this gap over the rest of the pack. So, pulling away they do. Murdoch is still there, though, in third position. He's not exactly letting them run away with this. He still wants to be part of the battle all the way to the death. Further back, fourth position is now Lucas Ellingham, but Tom Edgar is having a squabble with Sam Shaw and Josh McLean. So that's going to be an interesting battle with those three as they duke away for position. But Reggie Dewey leads the way in front of Alessandro Serenetti and Will Murdoch. They come out of the final turn, down the main straight, and Dewey and Serenetti are so close together. Serenetti is practically flirting with the bumper of Reggie Dewey's kart down the back straight. As they come up through 3, still edging forward, really good racing. It's Dewey and Serenetti from Murdoch and Ellingham. And then you've got Edgar, Shaw, McLean, Charter, Butterworth, Anglis and Darrell Taylor, with Marcus Littlewood in 12th position doing a good job. From Alex Moody, Will Orton and Zach Meakin. Then it's Callie Atkins from Torpy, England, Cottrell and Sumpton. Archie Mace is 21st from TJ McDonnell. And then it's Newburn, Barham, and then the driver's in trouble. Oh, and up and over goes Lucas Ellingham. That's Lucas Ellingham battling away for 4th position as Sam Shaw makes the move. Ellingham clatters over the top of one of the fusions. I think it was Tom Edgar. So we'll double check. Edgar hasn't lost the place. He's still right in there with a mix with Josh McLean, his teammate. So the two of them can now work together to charge forward. But Reggie Dewey and Alessandro Serenetti are still the class of the field, and they are edging away from Will Murdoch. There is nothing they can do about it at this stage. And Dewey and Serenetti have clearly decided, well, we're the two fastest. Let's get away from the rest of the field. So Dewey, Serenetti and Murdoch in third, trying desperately to stay with them. Commendable that he's done as well as he has. 4th place is Shaw, and he's having a good run. Here comes McLean up the inside of Tom Edgar. McLean swaps places with his teammate, and he gets a rub from behind as Harvey Charter tries to come through. And all of a sudden, here comes Dan Butterworth. Dan Butterworth's in the mix. He's going to get past both of them. Past Charter, past Edgar. Dan Butterworth gets a brilliant move through 7. Well, that's the kind of flashes of excellence we saw from him in Junior TKM last year. Made the transition to Junior X30 this year, and he is having a great run. So Dewey and Serenetti have well and truly checked out from the rest of the field. 3rd place, Will Murdoch, is still relatively in touch, but falling into the clutches of the rapid Sam Shaw. Sam Shaw is going very quickly indeed, and now starting to attack under the Litchfield Bridge. 5th position is still Josh McLean, ahead of Dan Butterworth now from Edgar, Charter, Ellingham and Darrell Taylor. Serenetti still working with Reggie Dewey. No overtaking moves yet. You're not going to get one of those until 2 laps to go for sure. But Reggie Dewey knows that with Alessandro Serenetti, he can get a smart racer to work with. He knows that the two of them will just work together to get away from the rest of the field. And then with 2 laps to go, it's on. Lucas Ellingham trying again to make progress as he has slipped down the order quite dramatically after his little incident. He's now in there with the likes of Darrell Taylor, Blake Anglis, and Alex Moody, who's going very well. Good to see Alex Moody running very well for Kato Motorsport. He's one of those drivers who has always got plenty of strength and determination. But again, fortune doesn't seem to favour the brave in his camp. But he is now finally starting to show what he can achieve. And Alex Moody is rightfully there on the outskirts of the top 10. Tom Edgar's not had a great run there. He's down to 12th position now. But it's good to see some of the names who deserve to be at the front end on sheer merit and determination getting there. As Serenetti once again bump drafts Reggie Dewey down the back straight through 6, on the run to 7. And again, Serenetti and Dewey just going through the fit. Now, there's big smoke coming off the back of the 221. Now, that's more smoke than you tend to get out of the back of a Junior X30. But it's only on the back straight, I noticed. So I wondered if there might have been some difficulties. And there's 4 wide coming off the hairpin. As 3 or 4 of them coming together and a little bit of a rub there as the 55 of TJ McDonald tries to shake off Archie Mace, Tyler Reed, and Scott Sumpton. An amazing squabble in the mid-pack. And somehow they get away with it as Serenetti goes for the lead and gets it. Serenetti dives for the lead at turn 1 and gets the place. Nicely done. As a warning flag goes up to the 25 of Archie Mace. Clearly they felt in that incident it was Archie Mace to blame. But Reggie Dewey is now second to Serenetti. And he's going to make the move again. Up the inside. Reggie Dewey retakes the lead. With a minute and a half to go. This is the battle for the victory we wanted to see. So Reggie Dewey retains the lead for the moment. Serenetti's right there with him. But it's going to come down to the wire between these two, and it's very hard to tell who's going to get the victory. Meanwhile, Dan Butterworth is trying to shake off McLean, who's up the inside. Butterworth retaliates, but he's unable to hold him off, and he's ended up losing 2 places, one to McLean and 1 to Harvey Charter. Very tough between those 3. But now it's Dewey versus Serenetti. Here we go, onto the main straight once again, and there's just 2 laps to run. Serenetti glued to the bumper of Reggie Dewey, and Sam Shaw's gone up to 3rd. Sam Shaw has passed Will Murdoch for 3rd position. Great run for Sam Shaw, and very worthy of a podium today. He's been one of the stellar performers in Junior X30 this weekend, and I have a feeling he could be a title contender. Serenetti goes for Dewey into the hairpin at 6, and he's there. Lovely move. Now, will Reggie Dewey be able to retaliate? He does indeed try into the hairpin, and he's got there. Drifts out wide. Serenetti going for the switchback. But no, they're just playing with each other till the last lap. They're keeping each other motivated by the look of it. Sam Shaw's gone up to 3rd past Murdoch, and he's much smoother over the curbs. 5th place now is Charter from McLean, Butterworth, Taylor, Ellingham, and Anglis. But the leaders are coming through to start the last lap of Junior X30 this weekend. And it's Reggie Dewey versus Alessandro Serenetti. One of these guys is going to emerge as the winner. Dewey defends to the first corner, holds the inside line. Sam Shaw trying to shake off Will Murdoch for 3rd. Now Reggie Dewey's going ultra defensive, holds the inside line for 3. As the battle continues, Serenetti hangs back. He knows that the only way to beat Reggie Dewey is to catch him unawares. Down the back straight. Dewey protecting the inside line like his life depended on it. Alessandro Serenetti goes wide. Dewey comes out of the corner later and has held a good lead there. 2 kart lengths. Reggie Dewey back to Serenetti. That could be enough. It's an absolute squabble for 5th position. It could be anybody's bet. But Serenetti is going to try one last trick to get onto Reggie Dewey. A big squabble for 5th position. Will try and stay with it as well as the leaders. But Serenetti is trying one last trick to get on terms with Reggie Dewey. But I think Dewey's done enough. It's going to come down to the last corner. Serenetti's close to Dewey. Is there going to be a run to the line? Alessandro Serenetti tries, but Dewey's done it. Dewey wins. Terrific. 3rd for Sam Shaw. Side by side with Will Murdoch for the line, but Shaw gets it. 5th for Charter. 6th for Darrell Taylor. Ellingham is 7th from McLean, Butterworth, and Anglis. Alex Moody is 11th from Tom Edgar. Zach Meakin 13th from Josh Torpey. Will Orton is 15th from Carly Atkins. Littlewood 17th from Sumpton, Cottrell, Reed, and then Archie Mace 21st. from TJ McDonald and Oliver Duffel. Bad luck for him this weekend. Luke Barham, 24th. Oren England in 25th place. More bad luck for him as well, the CRG Island driver. Oscar Joyce in 26th. Reese Newburn, 27th. And then come the casualties. Both of the BMR drivers, Alicia Barrett and Tom Leben, in the wars today, with Charlie Rippon out of the race on lap 5. But an amazing race between Reggie Dewey and Alessandro Serenetti. It was a hard fight, but a fair fight, and the right man won. Reggie Dewey taking the victory. Alessandro Serenetti working so hard to beat him, but what a great race. And that's exactly the kind of race we should get in every category. But BKC Racing can be delighted. Their drivers are 2nd and 3rd, but for Reggie Dewey, RS Kart takes a victory in Junior X30, and he can be delighted with that. Wow, great racing in Junior X30. Now we come to the B final for Honda Cadet, so still 4 places to fight for in the A final of the Honda Cadets later on. And obviously that is going to be a tough fight. Here's the grid. Jay Lawrence and Aston Sharp from Hayden Eldridge and Sophie Kinghorn. Alex Horcutt and Joshua Gambar from Oliver Guyard and Reg Haywood, Sonny Mortensen and Blake Ticehurst, Devon Nolan and Oscar Sullivan from Ryotaro Sakai and Kasper Tomilewski, Olivia Jakins and Tom Behrman from Miles Turnbull and Jack Hobson, Liam Hartley and Wesley Swain, Mikey Porter and Oliver Buckton, Josh Rudd, Jack Thompson, Holly Woolley, Dylan McKay, Brad Bick and Noah Barham. Now, this is a bit of an unpredictable Honda Cadet final, actually, B final, I should say, because there are so many names outside the top 4 that could very easily get back there. You've got to look at Joshua Gambar. He's a bet. Reg Haywood, potentially. Blake Ticehurst. Ryotaro Sakai. Potentially Jack Hobson, of course, who was on the original front row of the grid. If he can fight his way through, then there is every chance that Jack Hobson could come through and emerge victorious, despite starting way back in the field. So do not give up, Jack. Keep pushing, and there could well be a run to the A final. There's everything to play for. 4 drivers across the line at the front of the race will progress through to the A final later. But for the Junior X30 drivers, they can chill out and just watch the racing. Green flag flies at the top of the gantry. A reminder that drivers shouldn't be... Oh! Contact on the way out of the pits. Unfortunately, 2 of the drivers have tagged on the way out of the pit lane. That is Jack Thompson, who has clattered together with Miles Turnbull, who sadly is another driver who has a chance to fight his way through the field. So the 2 of them, unfortunately, tagging as they came out of the pits. I was going to say to all of those drivers at the side of the circuit, don't disappear too soon, because obviously if you attend the trophy presentation, you can enter into a prize draw to win a free race entry for next time. So it's obviously worth going for that. I certainly would. So around they go on the formation lap. Lawrence and Sharp. Eldridge and Kinghorn. Horcutt and Agambar. Guyard, Haywood, Mortensen and Ticehurst from Nolan and Sullivan. Sakai and Tomilewski. A lot of people will be watching the progress of Jack Hobson, the MW Racing driver, of course, on the original grid of the final of the heats. So let's see if he can make the progress to get back into his position. He's had nothing but bad luck all weekend, but Jack Hobson, without a shadow of a doubt, has had what it takes to get the job done. So the drivers will come onto the starting grid for a standing start, as it always is in Honda Cadet. And the drivers will be preparing for the action. So they get themselves into position. Jai Lawrence on the front of the grid with Aston Sharp. Hayden Eldridge there with Sophie Kinghorn and Alex Horcutt. Joshua Gambar and Oliver Guyard from Haywood and Mortensen. Ticehurst and Nolan. Sullivan and Sakai. Tomilewski and Jakins. Behrman and Turnbull. Hobson, Hartley, Swain, Porter, Buckton, Rudd, Thompson, Woolley, Mackay, Bick and Barham. So the drivers are in position. We're just waiting for the all clear at the back of the grid. It looks like there's 1 or 2 drivers slightly out of position. They're still learning about this, don't forget, and this is their last chance. So a few drivers are still trying to get themselves into position. It looks like there's a problem for Miles Turnbull again, who's had difficulties obviously getting to the grid in the first place because of that little tussle with somebody else. So Miles Turnbull now in position, and the marshals are leaving him to it. He's trying to communicate with them, but I don't think it's a difficult situation, because Miles Turnbull's just basically got to go into the race and hope that he can fight his way through. Mars Turnbull is gesticulating to the officials. Something's not right. I need to get this sorted, whatever it might be. Well, we're waiting for the all clear from the drivers at the back of the grid. The green flag is at the back of the grid, so we are going to go racing. Lights on, lights out. Perfect start from Jai Lawrence. That's exactly the getaway he needed. A good start too from Sophie Kinghorn. She's going to sail through into second place. Great start from Sophie Kinghorn. So the two Project 1 cars are 1 and 2. Jai Lawrence and Sophie Kinghorn. Sharp is still there in third from Hayden Eldridge. And the field swarms through the first few corners. Onto the Litchfield Bridge. Back down the drop through the square right. And now down the Mac Straight. So great racing as they go down the far side of the circuit. Up towards the hairpin. But really superb racing so far. It's up the inside. That's for fourth position. And a spin. A spin. Two spins, unfortunately. The first one is the 25 and the 11 has gone with. So that is Aston Sharp from the front of the grid. And Reg Hayward slides sideways too. But for Aston Sharp, that's even more painful from the front row of the grid. Aston Sharp now drops to the tail end. And that's going to be absolutely agonizing for Aston Sharp. Forget about it, get back on with it, and keep pushing. You never know. If nothing else, it's still 8.5 minutes of hard pressure racing. You've still got to keep going from the beginning of the race. So out they come onto the main straight to complete the first lap. A really strong start to the race. Here comes the 18 at the inside of Joshua Gambar, and he leads. Well, Joshua Gambar was a fighter in the top 6 overall, don't forget. So the fact that he's fought his way through to the front of this B final is not a major shock. But Joshua Gambar now needs to just get himself back into position and keep the faith and keep pushing, keep motivated, and he will lead the way. So Jai Lawrence in second, Sophie Kinghorn in third, and fourth is Hayden Eldridge. It looks like it's these four that are going to go to the A final for the moment. But let's not count out. A few of the big names are still coming. Jack Hobson looks like he's up into 7th place now. He is charging through the field rapidly. So the top 4 still together. Agambar, Lawrence, Kinghorn and Eldridge. Then it's Guyard and Hawker battling away. But here comes Jack Hobson, 7th position. Don't forget, he was the front row of the original grid and led one of the previous heats. Here comes Hobson, diving for the inside, gets through into 6th position. Makes the move there on Alexander Hawker. Now he's going to try and make the same move on Oliver Guyard. That will put him into P5. But it's closing in on the leading pair. That's going to be the problem. Now, Jai Lawrence has managed to get back past Joshua Gambar, and they lead out in front. Now, Joshua Gambar is working with Jai Lawrence to get away from the rest of the chasing pack. And no surprises why, because that is Hobson up into 5th position. Gambar will definitely be feeling the pressure of Hobson reeling them in. Hayden Eldridge has gone into 3rd place, past Sophie Kinghorn. And as they battle away, Joshua Gambar's going to try again. On the back of Jai Lawrence. Will he make the move? No, he's going to wait for his moment, actually. He doesn't need to push too far. As long as he's in the top 4, he doesn't have to win the B final. He just needs to get into the grid for the A. That's all he's interested in. But Sophie Kinghorn in 4th position will want to keep Jack Hobson at bay. Ryotaro Sakai makes a big lunge. Oh, and up and over the back. Sakai was going well, but unfortunately he rides the back of Oliver Guyard's cart. And that's impeded Sakai's progress. But he was definitely going on the same march forward as Jack Hobson. So there's still time, potentially, for Sakai to get up the order once more. But it is Joshua Gambar who leads the race then. Jai Lawrence in 2nd place. 3rd is Eldridge. And in 4th is Sophie Kinghorn. Catching them all, though, is Jack Hobson. Here he comes. Hobson is definitely gaining massive ground. He's 2 seconds a lap nearly quicker than all of them. Well, Sakai's made a good move in the first corner past Alexander Hawker. So that puts him up into 9th place. And as they dive over the bridge, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, Jack Hobson has caught up to the top 4. There's still a great chance to win this B final, and that would really help his charge. Here comes Hayden Eldridge up the inside of Jai Lawrence. And Jai Lawrence is going to have to concede that one. Eldridge through in a 2nd. Sophie Kinghorn 4th. But here comes Jack Hobson. Hobson dives for the inside, gets up into 4th position. Nicely done. So Hobson is now in the A final, but how far up the grid will he start? From his point of view, he needs to be as high up the order as possible. So Hobson now charging after. Oh, that's already going for a move on Jai Lawrence. Determined into Bobby Game corner, and he makes it stick. So Jack Hobson up to P3. Brilliant driving from Hobson. We knew it was not going to be long before he got himself back into contention. But he is going to set the fastest lap of the race this time by for certain as he comes through over the line. And he's going for second already up on the inside of Eldridge. And he gets that one done beautifully. So now that is Jai Lawrence and Sophie Kinghorn battling for the last place in the A final. 4th and 5th. Kinghorn's going to try and make the move on Jai Lawrence. She has to back out of it in the end. But 6th position is now Sonny Mortensen. Then it's Ticehurst, Guyard, Ryotaro Sakai, and Devon Nolan rounding out the top 10. So Jack Hobson is now right up behind Josh Agambar. Sakai still picking them off one by one. Hobson's going to make the move and do the lead of the race past Agambar. And that's nicely done from Hobson. So Hobson leads from Josh Agambar in second. And he signals to Agambar, come on, we can get away from the pack now. So the two of them look like they could well disappear, leaving only 2 places left for the drivers behind them. But it's Hobson who leads. Agambar in second place. And then Hayden Eldridge is third from Lawrence and Kinghorn, the 2 teammates who are bidding for the last place in the A final. 4th position is all that you need to get into the A final, but 5th position is not going to be good enough. Here comes Sophie Kinghorn. She's got a good run out on the final turn. Go on, Sophie. Not quite able to overhaul Jai Lawrence. Good defensive work from Lawrence. Wise decision from Sophie Kinghorn. She wasn't quite alongside enough to make the lunge up the inside. But Sophie Kinghorn is definitely looking motivated to get into that top 4. She needs to keep pushing. Down the straight, Hobson and Agambar, 1st and 2nd, getting away from Hayden Eldridge. Here comes Kinghorn up the inside, going for the move, and she's there, 4th position. Now, if she can hold that, she's in the A final. She's just got to keep going. Jai Lawrence is held off because she defends well to cover. So Sophie Kinghorn in the 83 is in 4th position. That will be enough for the A final if she hangs it all together. Further back, we've got some nice tussles. Mortensen and Ticehurst are having a good race for 6th. And they're being caught by the Japanese star, Ryotaro Sakai, who is trying to get himself up to the top 4. Might well be there by now, had it not been for that little incident earlier on when he clattered over the back of Oliver Guyard. He's back in front of him now, by the way. But it's still only leaving them 2 laps, really, to go after the top 4. Sophie Kinghorn still holds 4th position, but teammate Jai Lawrence is still right there in 5th position. And Jai Lawrence might go for the move here with 2 to go. Sakai is close up behind Mortensen and Ticehurst. So those 2 are having a great squabble and a great race. But it's not easy to see how this is going to end up. Down the back straight. It's all going well for Jack Hobson. He leads the way in the hairpin as he has a few kart lengths over Josh Agambar. 2nd place for Josh. 3rd position, Hayden Eldridge. Just getting on with things there in P3. Running very well. Solid and consistent. But Sophie Kinghorn trying to hang on in front of Jai Lawrence to get the last place in the A final. 6th position, still a good squabble. Mortensen battling with Ticehurst. Ticehurst is now through. And Sakai's going to make the move on Mortensen. Up the inside into 8, and he's there. Good work from Ryotaro Sakai. Don't forget, this youngster has come all the way from Japan to compete in the British Championships. That is the strength of the British talent in motorsport, particularly in the karting world. If you want to win, you train in Britain. Here they go. Over the line, and Jack Hobson and Josh Agambar lead the way. The last place on the grid is still up for grabs for the A final as Jai Lawrence goes for his teammate, Sophie Kinghorn. Kinghorn defends. Sakai is up to 6th further back. If there is an issue, Sakai is in prime position, but back on the inside comes Blake Ticehurst. The 2 of them squabbling over 6th place now. Josh Agambar still thinks he can win the B final as Jack Hobson continues to run in the lead. Josh Agambar is going with him. There could still be a very interesting change to this race. Sophie Kinghorn hanging on in front of her teammate. The last place on the A final grid is up for grabs for 4th position. And we have a retirement. Unfortunately, it's Jack Thompson. And it looks to me as though Thomas Behrman is also out of the race. So disaster for those 2. But the checkered flag is being prepared for Jack Hobson in front of Josh Agambar. Agambar is only a kart length back, but crucially, that's not enough to win the race. Out of the final turn, they might come across the line side by side, though, as Agambar's trying one more trick. Oh, it's close, but Hobson wins it. Agambar 2nd, but 3rd is going to be Eldridge, and 4th, it's going to be... Oh, it's Jai Lawrence. Jai Lawrence just gets there in front of Sophie Kinghorn. Half a tenth of a second between them. That's cruel luck. And that's a very ambivalent Project One Racing team. Joy for Jai Lawrence. Commiseration for Sophie Kinghorn. Not quite enough to get through to the A final. So close. So close. They were side by side at the line. And Jai Lawrence just got there. We're talking a matter of inches between the two of them at the line. Cruel fate for Sophie Kinghorn. 6th place for Ryotaro Sakai. Mortensen is 7th from Nolan, Ticehurst and Guyard. And then it's Josh Rudd from Alex Hawcutt, Reg Hayward and Bradley Bick. Dylan Mackay and Miles Turnbull. Wesley Swain and Oscar Sullivan. Mikey Porter and Olivia Jakins. Oliver Buckton and Liam Hartley. Holly Woolley and Kasper Tomilewski. Then Noah Barham and Aston Sharp with Thomas Behrman and Jack Thompson, the 2 retirements from the race. Disappointment for Tom Behrman. His older brother Oliver, of course, has been putting on a big show in all of the various categories he's been doing. And obviously here in Honda Cadet, Tom Behrman wanted to put on a good show too, the youngster from Chelmsford. Now, interestingly, he has just left a massive ribbon of mud on the racetrack. Now, that's interesting, because he has obviously brought the car back onto the circuit. But now, in between turns 7 and 8, on that straight up to the chicane, there is now a tyre's width of track of mud across the racetrack. Now, that could be interesting come the finals, which, of course, are upon us now as we go into the next race, which is the Junior Rotax Final. It's already been pretty exciting between these guys in the earlier race. In the earlier races, I should say. But now we are definitely about to get physical. It's going to get really intense from this moment on. And in Junior Rotax, it's time to crown a winner. Will Ellswood in pole position from Ryan Taylor-Truman. Tom Adams and Matty Hingley on the 2nd row of the grid. Josh Vallance and Ben Casely from James Winter and Hugh Lawrenson. Will Egby and Charlie Knight. John Knox and Oscar Hoole. Harry Newman-Oakley and Dan Parent-Smith. And then we have Reese Hurd and Matthew Higgins. Jack Stedman and Dan Armstrong. Harrison Collins, Will Walker, Madison Foley and Kai Hunter, who was docked in one of the previous races. Then it is Kieran Kay and Alex Doddington, from Josh Powell, Ben Maxim, Luke Sharp and Brandon K. Nagelvort, as the marshals have been out onto the circuit and are obviously sweeping the mud off the racing line as best they can, but they have signaled to the drivers, try and stay off the mud if you can. Oh, and there's a car pulling off. Car pulling off at the hairpin. And an absolutely incensed and enraged Brandon K. Nagelvort. Brandon K. Nagelvort out of the race at turn 7 before the race has even begun. Well, Brandon K. Nagelvort is absolutely distraught. Punches the padding on the lamppost in frustration, but it's time to start the race. Now, perfect start. From the front of the grid goes Will Ellswood, chops across to take the early lead. And as they fly under the Litchfield Bridge, it's a terrific getaway from Will Ellswood. From pole position, he leads through the first couple of corners. And as they go up the hill, over the bridge, and down through the drop, onto the back straight, it is Ellswood that leads the way, chased down by the Coles Racing cart of Ryan Taylor-Truman with his teammate Tom Adams in tow. Some late lunges into the hairpin as drivers are starting the race as they mean to go on. 4th place is the 54 of Casely, as a battle now ensues as Adams gets up the inside of his teammate Ryan Taylor-Truman on the exit of the hairpin, and up in a 2nd place he goes. Left, right, down towards Bobby Game Corner now, and Ellswood is struggling to hang on to the lead. Casey's having a look for 3rd on Taylor-Truman already, and has not quite been able to make that move stick so far. But they are still battling away. It looks to me as though Casey has had to hang back in 4th position. And he's now got some pressure there from, I think that's Matty Hingley. Yes, indeed, in 5th position. So here they come. Ellswood, Adams, Taylor-Truman, Casey and Hingley. Then Vallance, Lawrenson, Winter, Knox, Egby, Knight, Newman-Oakley and Harrison Collins, with Matthew Higgins playing catch-up. So too, of course, is Kai Hunter. He is down in 16th, but he's already making his way up through the field. He's made up 6 places. So keep an eye on Kai Hunter. He is still charging forward. Down to the braking zone for the hairpin. Still your leader is Will Ellswood, hanging on to the lead for the moment. The privateer is gunning well as Adams is going to go for the move on the inside, and Adams takes the lead at turn 7. Good work from Adams. Ellswood is still right underneath him. Taylor Truman is about a cart length back as they go into the chicane. They tighten up on the way out. And there's still some great racing down at the back of the field as several drivers jockeying for position. That's Ben Maxim having a duel with Josh Powell and Alex Doddington. So the non-starters from the race, sadly, are Madison Foley and Brandon K. Nagelvort, who refuses to take off his racing helmet. He's so livid. He just wants to bottle it up at the moment. Will Ellswood up the inside. The lead into turn 1 on Adams. Sweeps by on the inside of the right-hander of the sweep of the chicane. And he's back in front. So Ellswood retakes the lead from Adams over the line effectively. And now they're going to go down the back straight. Absolutely together. Ellswood leads. Adams second. Taylor Truman third. Then it is Casey in front of Hingley. And the top 5 have broken clear of the man in 6th place. That is the M Sport of Josh Vallance. Casey trying to shake off Hingley in 4th. Hingley's going to make the move into this turn 7 hairpin. Through the left. And he's there. But he runs wide on the exit. Casey gets him straight back as they go to the chicane. So Matty Hingley will charge again onto the chicane, and then as they come up to Bobby Game Corner through the right hand of the field is still jostling for position. Lots of great racing to come from these guys as they come off the turn into the chicane. And Ellswood is actually controlling the pace of this field very well indeed. He runs very wide out of the final turn though, so watch for Adams. Adams is going to get a move into turn 3 through the chicane. He's caught him right up. Will he go for the lead? Of course he does. Dives for the inside into the left-hander. Keeps the car travelling through the apex. And he's through. Up to 4, over the bridge and into 5. Tom Adams hits the front. No, he doesn't. Back into 5 comes Ellswood and takes him on the drop down the hill. And that has now given Adams another crack at it. Adams down the inside and off! Off goes Ellswood. He got a tag there. Now, I'm not sure who that was that hit him, but there was definite contact, and Ellswood has been effectively tapped out of the race. Now, I can't tell who that was. Ellswood is absolutely furious. But I can't tell who that was. Was that Taylor Truman or was that Ben Casey? It was either one of those two drivers, Ryan Taylor Truman or Ben Casey, that under braking just tapped him into a spin. And that's it. Game over for Will Ellswood. Now, it all very much depends as to who they judge was at fault for that move. The drivers involved, though, have to get on with it in the hope that they won't get a penalty. Adams leads. Big move now from Casey as he goes for Ryan Taylor Truman. And he drifts out sideways. They bang wheels and through comes Hingley to 3rd. Casey down to 4th position. So Hingley is 3rd, but Casey's going to come back at him over turn 4. And now they're going to go into the hairpin for 6. They come through nicely. So back into 3rd place comes Ben Casey. Now, the officials are deliberating as to what happened to Will Ellswood. We'll find out soon as Hingley comes back at Casey and they bang wheels. Hingley is furious at Casey. Hand in the air. What are you doing? Casey gestures in response. I'm doing nothing, mate. It's racing. Deal with it. They come through to turn 11, up at the top of the Mike Wilson complex. And still they battle for 3rd position. It's getting rough and ready in Junior Rotax. Up at the front end of the field, it's Tom Adams and his teammate Ryan Taylor Truman that have got out in 1st and 2nd. Casey 3rd from Hingley. Then in 5th, it's Hugh Lawrenson now up in front of Josh Vallance with Charlie Knight ahead of Will Egby, and then Kai Hunter up to 9th. So Kai Hunter's definitely still got a part to play in this race. He's now in the top 10, so there is time to catch up. Will Ellswood is absolutely fuming about his race ending at turn 6, but it's something he has to take up with the stewards now. In fact, the 72 has got going again. That's Alex Doddington. So Alex Doddington has got the cart going. Will Ellswood has actually got the cart going and brought it straight back to the pits. So his race is over. Yellow flags up at the first corner up at Litchfield under the bridge. So there's yellow flags there, and that looks like Josh Powell has had an off there. So Josh Powell appears to have gone off the circuit. He's got going again under the Litchfield Bridge, but that's his race chances over. Down the straight, Adams and Taylor Truman, race leaders. Casey and Hingley have united, joined forces, and are now working together. Lawrenson is 5th. Knight is 6th. Here comes Kai Hunter up to 7th place now. So Josh Powell is going to bring the cart back to the pits, having had a really tough day at the office all in all. But the leaders are coming at him. Casey side by side with Taylor Truman. And there's a slower cart in front of them. That nearly caused an issue. But in fact, he's going to bring it back to the pits. He's not going to cause an issue for the leaders. That's well timed and well decided there from Josh Powell. But here they come again. Adams is your leader. Taylor Truman in second. White flag is in front of them. That's for the slower kart in front of them. Hopefully he'll get back to the pits without impeding the leaders, and he does. That's very good. So the racing can continue without interruption. A really good run this for Adams. An absolutely sensational run in the lead of the race from his teammate Taylor Truman, who is there in second place. But now Casey is going to come at him at turn one and dive up the inside, and he gets there. Taylor Truman slots back into third. And here comes the move for third from Matty Hinchley. He dives up the inside of Taylor Truman, and Hinchley's run out wide. No, that's not Hinchley. That is Taylor Truman. Taylor Truman drifts wide, and up to fourth has come Hugh Lawrenson. So Taylor Truman slips to fifth position. And it's now Tom Adams versus Ben Casely with 2 minutes 21 on the clock. And the additional lap on top of that. But where is Kai Hunter? Surely he can't be far away. No, he's not. He's in sixth. He is catching up with the leading five. Kai Hunter's not done yet. He is getting into this mix, and he won't have long to assess the situation and go for the lead, so he's got to get on with it. Fastest man of the race, Ben Casely, 60.12 seconds dead. The ultimate best is a 59.7, but we're racing. We're not bothered about fastest laps. Here we go. Ben Casely's going to make the move for the inside for Tom Adams, and he's there. Ben Casely takes the lead through turn one, and a bold lunge too from Will Egby on Charlie Knight for seventh. He makes that one stick. Over the Litchfield Bridge, Casely is your race leader. Kai Hunter is caught up to the back of Ryan Taylor Truman as they drop down off the bridge. He's already starting to make inroads into him as they come down to the braking zone for turn six. Kai Hunter attacks immediately and gets the place. Drifts wide but catches it on the apex. Nicely done. He's fifth. So Casely leads Adams. Matty Hinchley third from Lawrenson. Then Kai Hunter and Ryan Taylor Truman. A minute and 8 seconds left. There's going to be 2 laps to go when they come out this time. Back out onto the circuit again after problems comes Alex Doddington. Still trying to get the kart rolling. He's having all sorts of mechanical problems. Josh Powell is out. Will Ellswood is out, as we know. The rest of the field are just keeping it going as much as they can. Here they come again. Casely, Adams, Hinchley, Lawrenson and Hunter. Top 5. Line astern. Not quite breathing down each other's exhaust fumes yet, but certainly getting closer to it into the penultimate lap. If it kicks off in the top 3, Kai Hunter's going to be right in position to make the lunge, but Lawrenson is in his way first. Adams closing in on Casely. Casely still leads it from Adams and Hinchley. They come through once again down into the braking zone. A little bit of a rub as Adams is running perfectly well there in second place, challenging Casely down to the chicane. He's not going to go for the move there. It's too high risk on the penultimate lap. And they come up to the Bobby Game Corner Complex once again. Kai Hunter's going to make the move for fourth on the inside of Lawrenson. Lawrenson resists, but Hunter is there. That will have cost Kai Hunter some time, though, so he's going to lose a couple of kart lengths to the drivers in front. But there is 1 lap to go at Junior Road Tax here this weekend of the Trent Valley Kart Club's Winter Series. Round 2, 2019. Who's going to emerge as the winner? It's a very tight battle. Last time out, of course, the victory went the way of Kai Hunter. Matty Hinchley was second that day. Hinchley's third this time. Leading the way is Ben Casely. So this is going to be a very tough battle. Can Casely hang on in front of Tom Adams? The 2 men that have not been in the top 3 all season because they weren't here at the first round. They are first and second. Here comes Hinchley getting a move on the inside of Tom Adams. And there's a big defensive move, but Hinchley gets in a second behind Casely. He has a chance to go 1 better. He goes for it. Hinchley takes the lead from third. He goes up to the lead, and now Adams is going to dive up the inside of Casely, but Hinchley's going to lead, and there's contact. 2 of them have come together. It looks like Casely is in the war zone, but it's going to be Adams who emerges as the winner. Adams will come through to take it. Lawrenson second, Hinchley third. Unbelievable. Adams wins it from Lawrenson and Hinchley. Taylor Truman is fourth and Kai Hunter is fifth from Will Egby, Knight, Collins, Newman Oakley and Josh Valance. Jack Steadman crosses the line 11th in front of Matthew Higgins, and Ben Casey, a rather disappointed 13th. John Knox is 14th from Kieran Kay and James Winter. Dan Armstrong comes next in line. And then it's Ben Maxim, Luke Scharf, Reese Hurd, and Dan Parent-Smith from Will Walker. Oscar Hall and Alex Doddington. Well, Ben Casey will be absolutely sick to his stomach. A chance of the victory in the last lap. From the lead originally. Well and truly over now. And that's a very sour way for his race to end. So Ben Casey won't be happy about it when the win was on. And he was leading. But it's now all done and dusted. But it's a win for Tom Adams. The E-Plate comes to the first weekend of his Winter Series season and gets the victory from Hugh Lawrenson and Matty Hingley. A really good effort there. And that means that I'm fairly sure it's going to be, if there's no penalties, then Matty Hingley should take the lead of the championship with a third place last time out. With a second place last time out and a third place this time. I'm fairly sure he's going to be the championship leader heading to the third round in March. So Matty Hingley can comfort himself with that. He may not have got the win, but he showed everybody what he can do. And he, barring any penalties, will lead the points tally in the Junior Rotax Winter Series. So that's a good performance there from Matty Hingley. Right, next up, we move on from Junior Rotax into Mini X30. And obviously, we've seen how competitive this class can be. Last time out, it was a win for Oliver Greenall in front of two men that aren't here this weekend, Ed Pearson and Arvid Lindblad. But the next man in was Luke Watts. Can he continue his rip-roaring season with another strong effort here? It's obviously going to be tight and it's going to be very close, but the battle really is drawn in Mini X30 as their final is prepared. Luke Watts and Matthew Hyde are on the front row of the grid from Oliver Greenall and Theo Makuris. Lewis Gardner and Jacob McComb are on the third row. Aidan Lyne and Bart Harrison are on row 4. Jessica Edgar and Alfie Briggs round out the top 10 from Jack Cox and Evan Brown. Marcus Luzio and Alfie Cottier. Gabriel Stilp and Antonis Sofronio. JJ Russell and Dane Tucker. Tom Bohr and Ben Dawson. Finn McKee and Jusso Laukkanen. And then it's Hayden Chance and Jack Sherwood. So the battle continues here at Trent Valley Kart Club, the second round of the Winter Series. A rather disappointed Brendan K. Nagelvort makes his way home. Brandon will be very unhappy with the way his race didn't even start. And hopefully he'll be back in March with a much stronger run. So the drivers in Mini X30 getting themselves ready for action. Luke Watts, Matthew Hyde, Oliver Greenall and Theo Makuris from Gardner, McComb, Lyne, Harrison, Edgar and Briggs. This is going to be a very interesting race. And the final, of course, now upon us for Mini X30. Are we off to a clean start? We are! And Luke Watts straight across into Matthew Hyde, who gets nudged as they go through. Unfortunately, that has really impeded Hyde and Makuris. But Watts is your leader as they go through turn 1. And who is that that's got through into second place? That's one of the Fusions. I think that's Oliver Greenall. Yellow flags temporarily at least through the Litchfield Bridge. There's one of them down at the back who has ended up down the order. But Greenall is already putting pressure on Watts. And in third, that is Lewis Gardner. And the driver in question that spun under the Litchfield Bridge was, I think, the 76. That's one of the Mad Croc carts. That is Antonis Sofronio, unfortunately. So he will have to charge his way through from that position at the back of the field. So, great racing from Luke Watts and Matthew Hyde as they continue with Oliver Greenall and Theo Makuris battling their way back in the order. But Greenall is behind Watts as they challenge each other for the victory. And in third place, that is the Sam Pollitt racing cart of Lewis Gardner. So they come down the straight, over the line once again. And here is the charge for Greenall. But Greenall is a wise cookie. He will work with Watts to get away from the rest of the field, surely. I don't see him spending much time duking away for position. Those two are going to try and build a gap. But Lewis Gardner is going with them, so that is a bit of an issue. Matthew Hyde is there in fourth, in front of Theo Makuris on the Mad Croc. And then down the back straight, Aidan Lyne is in position there for the V Motorsport squad. No, that's Alfie Briggs. Alfie Briggs has come up to sixth place in front of Aidan Lyne. So Alfie Briggs is now in the top 6. And a big dive up the inside from the 17 of Jess Edgar to 7th place in front of the 44 of Aidan Lyne. And then comes the RS Kart chassis of The RS Kart chassis of Jacob McComb. There's been a lead change. Greenell is your leader now. Greenell is in front of Watts. So he obviously wasn't prepared to wait around with Gardner breathing down his neck. So your race is now being led by Oliver Greenell in front of Luke Watts and Lewis Gardner. A really good battle as they come down the straight once again. Greenell is your leader. Watts in second place. Third is Lewis Gardner. Go under the bridge, and is there going to be a change? No, not yet. Watts is going to take his time about this. Greenell your leader. Watts, Gardner, Hyde, McCurris, Briggs, and Jessica Edgar in 7th place. Then it is Aidan Line from McComb, Cox, Harrison, Still, Tucker, Brown, Cottier, and Luzio. This is going to be interesting as now Gardner is edging into the back of the leading two. He wants a piece of this. I'm not so keen on your strategy, boys. I'm part of this race, and I'm going to win. Into the hairpin once again. Greenell still charging forward. Watts is there in 2nd place. At 3rd position for Lewis Gardner. They battle away down the back straight as they run to the Bobby Game corner, turn 10. They go through the right-hander. Still a lot of battles in the field as they continue to jockey away for position. But down the main straight, this is going to be tight, actually, because Watts is giving a lot of pressure to Greenell. Greenell is still there, solidly in the lead. But Watts is gaining a lot of momentum off the final turn. But I think Watts is going to challenge. No, I was going to say he's going to challenge, but then he decided, you know what, we are going to pull away from the field. They've got an advantage now on Lewis Gardner. They need to capitalise on it. So they need to start driving away. Gardner is there in 3rd, a few kart lengths back, but not by much. And 4th is Matthew Hyde. They need to get on with this now. They need to commit to working together. Otherwise, Hyde is going to get on terms with Gardner, and he's going to be right there. McCurris is next. Edgar goes for Briggs. Jess Edgar on Alfie Briggs. And Jessica Edgar gets through on Alfie Briggs there for 6th position. And I'm sorry to say, but we have lost another driver in the fray. That is Gabriel Stilp. It's been a nightmare weekend for him all in all. He's shown incredible speed from the off. Qualifying yesterday was really promising. But for Gabriel Stilp, his weekend comes to a bitter, bitter end. And he doesn't deserve that. Greenell's now got Luke Watts right underneath him. 3rd position is Gardner with Hyde and McCurris very close in behind. McCurris is looking threatening on the back of Matthew Hyde. He might get an opportunity for the undercut. He's not quite going to get it there, so he has to hang back over the top of the brow and down the back straight into the braking zone for the hairpin. Oh, this is getting tight between Greenell and Watts. They're trying to edge away, but Gardner's got assistance now from Hyde and McCurris. Edgar's in 6th from Briggs. And then in 8th place is Jacob McComb from Aidan Line and Jack Cox. So they're still pushing on into the chicane. Left over the curb, right over the curb. Still giving it plenty. Oh, a little bit of a jostle further back as the battle in the midfield continues. That was Ben Dawson trying to get past the Spirit of Senecart of JJ Russell. And then eventually losing the place to Juso Laukkanen, I think it was. So good battles as they come out of the final turn and down the main straight. It's still Greenell and Watts trying to get away from the rest of the pack. Hyde is now up to 3rd. He's got past Gardner. McCurris is next. And McCurris is going to try and make a push for the position. But so far, it's all about Greenell and Watts. Greenell and Watts leading the charge. And as they come onto the back straight, Watts is still settling for 2nd place at the present time. He doesn't need to push Greenell too hard. McCurris, however, is going for Gardner. And McCurris is through into 4th position. This man is famed for being the top privateer for most of last year's Honda Cadet Championships. Now he is a star in Mini X30. Fresh out of the blocks, and he's right in the mix. So Theo McCurris up to 4th place. Comes off the S's and down towards the inside line for Bobby Game corner into turn 10 in 4th position. That's what I meant to say. But for the leaders, Greenell versus Watts has remained unchanged. They come over the line with a little under 4 minutes left of this final. Still, they put pressure on each other. Greenell trying to get away. Watts very much the faster man in a straight line, but edging Greenell away from the field. That's the effective strategy that can work at the moment. Just keep edging away from each other. And still they push out of the final couple of corners of the first sector up towards turn 6. Watts again just measuring the braking zone of the car. Theo McCurris has got a little bit of a challenge now from Lewis Gardner. McCurris is giving him a glare as they come off the hairpin. McCurris not prepared to take the fact that they nudged each other as a good enough excuse to be rubbing with him. So Makuris giving him a massive glare as they came off the hairpin of turn 6. Intimidation, very much the watchword there. And as a result of that, Jess Edgar now has a chance to go for Luis Gardner. So Luis is there in 5th, but Jess Edgar and Alfie Briggs are closing in. Jacob McComb still hanging on in front of Aidan Line. And rounding out the top 10 just in front of Bart Harrison is Jack Cox. So Jessica Edgar is now giving a challenge to Luis Gardner. And Jess Edgar goes for the move onto the inside of turn 3. Not going to make it there. She tried her best. But Luis Gardner absolutely determined not to lose the lead of this race. And Gardner getting a little bit wide out of turn 5. Makuris is now edging with Hyde to close in on the 2 leaders. Makuris playing very sensible indeed. Working with Matthew Hyde to go after the 2 leaders. It is still doable. They can still catch them. 2 minutes and 10 left on the clock. Don't forget that they're still following in the draft as Edgar makes the move to get on the inside of Gardner. Gardner drifts out to the outside of 8, and that's enough to hold the line for the moment. Edgar frustrated once again. Jess Edgar, don't forget. Contact there further back, and that's a race pretty much ended for those two. Finley McKee, I should say, has come together there with Jack Sherwood. Sherwood going over the back of McKee's cart. He gets it going again, but that's a move that has not worked. And still, Luke Watts edges Greenall further away from the back behind them. So still, Greenall leads. Watts second, but he's not going to go for his killer move until the time ticks down. They're on the back straight. 3 laps to go, I make it. So it's not going to be really until the next lap or even the last lap that Luke Watts is going to make his bid. If I was him, I'd start on the penultimate lap just because you've got a bit more time to read the situation and see what can happen from there. But Greenall is your leader. Watts in second. A few cart lengths back to Matthew Hyde and Theo Makuris in 3rd and 4th. Edgar tries again on Luis Gardner, but again is not quite able to get on the way on the inside. So Jess Edgar just needs a little bit more confidence, and she can make that move stick. She's definitely faster than Gardner over 1 lap, and it's about having the confidence and declaration of mind to say, I'm coming past you, get out of the way, or have an accident. And again, Greenall is now in defense mode, in the lead of the race, swarming around in front of Watts. He doesn't want Watts to come through, but surely that's now backing him into Makuris and Matthew Hyde, who are 3rd and 4th at the moment. Gardner's tagged onto the back of them in 5th place. Edgar's now there in 6th as well. So the 4 of them squabbling over 3rd position at this point. Makuris goes for 3rd. Edgar goes for 5th. And neither of them have made their move stick. Makuris is still jostling. Here comes Gardner through past Makuris to 4th. Edgar's going to dive for the inside of Makuris to 5th. And that one has worked. Makuris is now trying to fend off Alfie Briggs. Briggs decides to bail out of it. But Luke Watts is in attack mode further up the road as Greenall swarms around all over the place, trying to keep the lead of this race in check. And still there's a chance for Luke Watts to get up the inside and pass Oliver Greenall. But if they keep squabbling, it's only going to end one way. The guys behind are going to catch them up. Last lap. Here we go. Greenall trying to shake off Watts. They're going to go nearly side by side through the first chicane. Watts is going to try and get the pendulum switch out of the Litchfield Bridge. Massive defense work coming in as Matthew Hyde and Luis Gardner are in the mix there as well. Hyde has been given a warning flag for his defensive moves on Gardner. Off the bridge they come. And it's now 7 of them for the victory. 7 of them in the mix. Briggs has got past Edgar for 6th position. He's now threatening Makuris, but Edgar gets back on the inside and takes Briggs. Now Watts has got the lead. Watts has got the lead on Greenall. So Watts has taken it on the last lap. 3 wide for 5th position as Briggs has to watch Makuris and Edgar defend for 5th and 6th positions. But Greenall has one last crack at Luke Watts, surely. He's going to look into Bobby Game. Watts has covered him off. Mike Wilson comes next. But I think Watts has done enough. I'm not sure Greenall's going to get another look in. He's going to try. Watts is going to go defensive into the final chicane. Greenall's going to come from a few yards back. They're going to come to the line. And Watts is going to get there, but only just. He squeezes Greenall to the grass. No contact, but he squeezes Greenall to the grass. And Watts has done it. Absolutely heroic from Luke Watts on the last lap. Watts has done it. Greenall has to concede to 2nd place. 3rd is Matthew Hyde. 4th is Luis Gardner. Fifth is Makuris. Theo Makuris there in fifth. From sixth place, Jessica Edgar. Seventh is Alfie Briggs. Eighth is Aidan Line. Ninth place is Jacob McComb. And 10th is Jack Cox. Dane Tucker has a great run there in 11th position from Bart Harrison, who finishes up in 12th, from Marcus Luzio and Evan Brown. Alfie Cottier and Antonis Sofronio are next in the line, from Juso Laukkanen and Benjamin Dawson, from Tom Moore, Finn McKee, Hayden Chance and Jack Sherwood. The only retirements from the race in the end, JJ Russell and, rather disappointedly, Gabriel Stilp as well, who now returns to the stranded remains of his crop promotion cart. And he'll be bitterly disappointed that he wasn't part of that one. He could have ended up with a very strong result. But for Luke Watts, determination and sheer guts play out, and he gets an amazing finish. He'll be absolutely elated with that one. It's so hard to battle with the likes of Oliver Greenall. He's a very tough racer, and he never relents. So to get the win over Oliver Greenall is no lean achievement for Luke Watts, and he totally deserves the win there. So we now move into the next race, which of course is going to give us 2 finals in one grid. So this is going to be particularly difficult, not only to observe, but also to keep track of, because obviously there's 2 very feisty grids, and they are going to be very closely matched. So let's see how everything goes for the remainder of this battle. It is going to be tight, and they are obviously going to have to work very hard to move their way further forward. But there is going to be a really strong battle for the drivers here as they continue to run away up at the front end. But Junior TKM and Minimax together on the same bit of racetrack will provide plenty of talking points and lots of entertainment. So it is going to be a really exciting race for all of the drivers as they put on a fantastic performance. But obviously it's going to be close at the front end. Connor Kearney versus Louis Harvey in Junior TKM will be one of the talking points from this. In Minimax, it's going to be the 2 Coles Racing drivers, Archie Kitching and Sam Gornall, trying to shake off the likes of Jez Williams and Tristan Rennie, who have put on a good, consistent, solid display from their previous 2 heats. But now it's all about getting the karts out there and ready. In Junior TKM and in Minimax, Gabriel Stilp's car has now been brought back to the pit lane, so we can go racing in the Junior TKM and Minimax final, all combined into one grid. And that is going to be a very competitive race indeed, and we'll see a lot of great action. The Junior TKMs have been waved out onto the starting grid, so they'll go around for their rolling lap. Connor Kearney and Louis Harvey on the front row of the Junior TKM final from Charlie Webb and Harry Wainwright, with Harvey Cole and Dominic Roberts next up. Charles Gaillard and Spencer Lane come next from Dominic Kilmister and Harry Yardley Rose. Alex Roberts is alongside Harvey Roth from Benjamin Cox and Ben Higgins, Josh Raystrick and Dale Whittaker from Brooklyn Thomas and Tom Johnson. And then obviously we will have the Minimaxes come out onto the circuit next. And here they come. They are waved out onto the circuit now. So let's talk you through the Minimax grid. Archie Kitching and Sam Gornall from Jez Williams and Tristan Rennie. Harley Horton and Ryan Willis from Jed Murphy and Callum Boyson. Juan Waniki and Owen Ross. Then Declan Russell and Callum Green from Nicole Sutherland, Luke Evans and Luke Ringham. So the Minimax and Junior TKM final is race 28 out of the 33 we are staging today. And it is obviously going to be a tight one for Junior TKM and for Minimax. 2 race battles in one go, of course. So it will be tough to see who emerges as the top dog in Junior TKM. Connor Kearney, Louis Harvey, Charlie Webb and Harry Wainwright. From Cole, Roberts, Gaillard, Lane, Kilmister and Yardley Rose. Alex Roberts has fought his way up to 11th, having started both of his heats, from the back of the grid. So let's see what Alex Roberts can do from there. We're on the main straight. We're under starters' orders. And it's a great start from the front for Connor Kearney. A very heroic getaway too from the number 7 of Louis Harvey. I nearly said Elliot Harvey. We got contact and 3 karts together under the Litchfield Bridge. They have all got going again despite going into the barrier under the Litchfield Bridge. But it looks as though we are going to be able to continue racing. That is the good news. But it is Connor Kearney from Louis Harvey and Charlie Webb up at the sharp end of the field. The rest of the field, I'm not sure, because that was right in the midfield that we saw karts spinning out. Fourth is Wainwright. Then it is the 74 of Charles Gaillard. So it is going to be a really exciting battle. And away we go for the Minimax. A good start from both Archie Kitching and Sam Gornall. They slide around in position. So it's going to be a really strong start. Hopefully we're going to have a really good battle. An absolutely fantastic battle. So it will be a really strong run as they come off the corner at the top end of the circuit and down the back straight. It is Kitching from Gornall with the third place man, currently Jez Williams. Over the line come the Junior TKM Brigade, and it's Kearney, Harvey, Webb and Wainwright. So the drivers that really lost out at the start were Harvey Cole, Dominic Roberts and Spencer Lane. Lane has got going again. So too has Harry Yardley Rose down in 13th, but Harvey Cole and Dominic Roberts have dropped to 15th and 16th respectfully. Brooklyn Thomas is down the order as well. I think he just slammed on the brakes to avoid it all. But they are the leaders. Connor Kearney, Louis Harvey and Charlie Webb, with Harry Wainwright not far away, and Charles Gaillard is in 5th position as Yardley Rose, Spencer Lane, Harvey Cole and Dominic Roberts are the ones that ended up in the barriers under the Litchfield Bridge. In Minimax, they flash past me, and Archie Kitching still leads from Sam Gornall and Jez Williams. 4th place is Ryan Willis from his teammate Tristan Rennie. Then Harley Horton and Callum Voisin, the 2 Coles drivers. Juan Moniki is not far back either. Then Callum Green and Declan Russell from Jed Murphy, Owen Ross, Nicole Sutherland, Luke Ringham and Luke Evans. So here they come. The one non-starter by the look of it in the mix for Junior TKM was Josh Raystrick, and that is obviously courtesy of his accident from earlier on. The kart might well be too badly damaged to continue. Connor Kearney versus Louis Harvey comes out over the Litchfield Bridge and down the back straight towards turn 6, the hairpin, and Louis Harvey is still breathing down the neck of Connor Kearney, but his tactic is very clear. Get away from the driver behind, Charlie Webb, for precision racing and start to build a gap. He doesn't want to go for the overtake right now. It's a long race. He just needs time to tick down. At Minimax over the line, and it is going to be Archie Kitching chased down by Sam Gornall. Then Williams, Willis, Rennie, Horton, Voisin, Waniki, Green and Russell. Just a whisker in front of Jed Murphy. No dramas from the Minimax Brigade thus far. They are just keeping it nice and tidy. But the 2 Coles Racing drivers at the front, Archie Kitching and Sam Gornall, are definitely having a really strong run as they come down the back straight. Kearney and Harvey still running 1 and 2 as they go into the first corner. Charlie Webb and Harry Wainwright in 3rd and 4th from Charles Gaillard and Harvey Roth. Kilmister, Whittaker, Higgins and Roberts in the top 10. And there's still plenty to do for the drivers out of position. Down off the bridge and down the back straight. Connor Kearney still leads. Louis Harvey 2nd, but the game plan isn't working because Charlie Webb and Harry Wainwright have both caught up to them. So it is going to need a move or two, I think, to shape things up. So it's Gaillard in 5th position, trying to stay close with them on the Talco. Then it is a TWM triple. Harvey Roth, Dominic Kilmister and Dale Whittaker from Higgins and Alex Roberts. Then Yardley Rose, Benjamin Cox, Spencer Lane and Harvey Cole from Dominic Roberts and Tom Johnson ahead of Brooklyn Thomas. Back to the Minimax. They're going down the back straight now towards the hairpin for turn 6. And is there going to be a change? No, Gornall still willing to work with the race leader, his teammate Archie Kitching. And then in 3rd place, it is Jez Williams. The 2 Project 1s are then next. Ryan Willis and Tristan Rennie having a good squabble for 4th and 5th positions. And then it is the 20 next up. That is Harley Horton. So the battle continues in the Junior TKM. They are now starting to make a push as Louis Harvey has got the lead over the first part of the sector from Connor Kearney. So Louis Harvey has it the front for the first time in this race. Harry Wainwright is starting to make a gain on Charlie Webb. Now I'm guessing that Louis Harvey has gone for the lead because with Webb and Wainwright closing up, the one thing he doesn't want to do is lose ground to them. So he'd rather be the one who leads the race. And as they approach traffic, that could have been the most timely decision he's made all race. So they come through the Mike Wilson complex. The leaders in Minimax are going down the back straight. And Jez Williams looks really fired up to go for Sam Gornall and Archie Kitching. But he's not close enough yet to make the move. There's Harvey. leading the way across the line into the first couple of corners and under the Litchfield Bridge. 1, 2, 3, and 4, very close now. Harvey, Kearney, Webb, and Wainwright. Charles Guyard is there in P5, trying to stay with them, but there's a lot still to go in this race. 4 minutes and 25. And, of course, don't forget that there's the additional bonus lap that comes with that as well. Through turn 6, down the short stretch, into the hairpin for the left-hander. Nice braking zone there for the race leader, Louis Harvey, just hanging on to his own game here. Connor Kearney in second place. Charlie Webb and Harry Wainwright running a very solid race as they continue on through the S's, up to the far side, in through the right-hander, and down the braking zone into the long sweepers at the Mike Wilson complex. Still plenty to do in this fight. They come off the turn and into the final chicane. They're closing in on the Spirit of Senna cart of Luke Ringham, I think that is. So Ringham will need to get out of the way and let them go by. But Elliot Harvey and Connor Kearney are battling away for position. And behind them for third, Charlie Webb has Harry Wainwright breathing down his neck. In Minimax, it's unchanged. It's still Archie Kitching from Sam Gornall and Jez Williams, with a few cart lengths back to the Project Ones of Tristan Rennie and Ryan Willis. Harley Horton has got about 4 seconds distance on Juan Waniki and Callum Voisin, who are battling away for their position. It's a big lunge from back further in the field for Dominic Kilmister. He makes the move on Charles Guyard and gets the place. Sorry, not on Charles Guyard. He was defending from Harvey Roth. So Roth had got him, but Kilmister gets him straight back again. The 3 drivers for TWM are now basically racing each other. But Louis Harvey holds the lead in front of Connor Kearney. Those 2 are now getting away from the rest of the pack. Minimax again remains unchanged as Tristan Rennie is in front of Ryan Willis. And he's the fastest of all in the first sector. So the Scotsman Tristan Rennie is still working his magic to try and build a gap over the man behind him, Ryan Willis. But it's unlikely to come to anything as Junior TKM continues to squabble over the bridge. Louis Harvey and Connor Kearney stretching out the advantage. And there's a little bit of a mistake there further back in the Minimax field. That is Juan Waniki struggling with Voisin and Russell as they joke out of the turn 7 hairpin. A few seconds later, the leaders of Junior TKM are at that point, and Wainwright goes for third on Webb. Wainwright gets Charlie Webb into third position, so a good run there from Harry Wainwright. That's not the easiest name in the world to say, is it? Harry Wainwright. But they come up to the S's at the far end of the circuit, through to the Mike Wilson complex. Oh, and there's a big off up at Litchfield. We've lost somebody under the bridge, yellow flags, as they've gone off at the top of the bank. And it looks like a wheel has parted company with the cart as well. So I'm not sure who that is, but we have lost somebody up at the top end. I think it's Jez Williams. Jez Williams fighting for the Minimax victory has seemingly disappeared from the fray. So Jez Williams is out. Disaster for Jez. Fastest over 1 lap in the Minimax for most of the weekend. But now it is all over. So that is a disaster as far as they're concerned. A real disaster. Jez Williams is out of luck. Bang out of luck. So it's all gone wrong. What a shame. Meanwhile, Louis Harvey leads Connor Kearney in the Junior TKM. Harry Wainwright is still third in front of Charlie Webb. Then Charles Guyard and Dominic Kilmister from Roth, Whittaker, Higgins and Roberts. But in Minimax, it's now 2 Coles carts and 2 Project Ones. Kitching from Gornall, Rennie from Willis, and then Harley Horton and Callum Voisin ahead of Declan Russell, Juan Waniki and Jed Murphy, a whisker in front of Callum Green. But it looks like the Junior TKMs are now going on to their penultimate lap. So this is the time for Connor Kearney. He's built up enough of a gap over Harry Wainwright. He will now defend Louis Harvey to the inside line. He knows that Connor Kearney's going to go for it. He now switches to the inside line. Oh, and contact! Contact as they go onto the bridge. And Connor Kearney finds himself down to third as a result. And I think there might be damage. But Louis Harvey leads it. Harry Wainwright's got in a second. Well, Connor Kearney was going for the move on Louis Harvey, and they banged wheels through turn 4, up over the bridge. So a disaster for Connor Kearney. He's now in third, trying to shake off Charlie Webb, but that could be any chance of victory now long gone. So that's a tough break for the man who was leading for the early stages of the race, Connor Kearney. But that now effectively hands a chance of victory on a silver plate to Louis Harvey. Overtaking when he did, clearly the move he made last lap. Here we go. But Harry Wainwright now has a shot to go for the victory. And don't forget, he won last time out 4 weeks ago. Louis Harvey again defends to the inside. Watch for Harry Wainwright, who will try and switch back. He's not going for the move on the inside of turn 4. Connor Kearney's right back with them. Charlie Webb in 4th. So Connor Kearney will be driving with the red mist. He won't be happy about it. Oh, and there's contact between the two guys in Minimax in front of them. That could have caused a bit of an issue there. Oh, and it does cause an issue for the 27. Spat out of the fray. That's Owen Ross who ends up getting caught out. But the battle for the victory in Junior TKM's just getting going. Harry Wainwright covers off Connor Kearney. Chops across on Charlie Webb. The top 4 now battling away for the victory, but I think Louis Harvey's done enough to win this. He's got about 2 kart lengths, and that's going to be enough into the Mike Wilson complex. So Louis Harvey will be able to take the victory, but Connor Kearney can't get past Harry Wainwright out of the final turn. The checkered flag will fly, and it's Louis Harvey who gets the win in brilliant style. Wainwright is 2nd, Connor Kearney 3rd from Charlie Webb. Charles Gaillard will come through for 5th position. And in 6th place, it will be Dominic Kilmister from Whitaker and Roth. Ben Higgins is 9th. And Alex Roberts comes home for 10th in front of Harvey Cole, Spencer Lane, Dominic Roberts and Harry Yardley-Rose. Ben Cox is 15th from Brooklyn Thomas. And then it will be Tom Johnson. But now the Minimax field is going to come through and finish up. And it's been plain sailing for the Coles boys. Archie Kitching is going to come through and take the victory in front of his teammate Sam Gornall. And Tristan Rennie just beats his teammate Ryan Willis to the 3rd step of the podium. Harley Horton is 5th from Callum Voisin. You can't help but feel sorry for Jez Williams, though, out of the race at the top of the hill. So Callum Voisin just gets beaten, actually, by Declan Russell on the last lap, as Jed Murphy comes through in front of Callum Green and Juan Waniki from Ross, Ringham and Evans, with the retirement Jez Williams and Nicole Sutherland, with a non-start, of course, for Josh Raystrick after his problems earlier on. So Junior TKM comes to a close, and it's Louis Harvey who gets the victory. In Minimax, it is Archie Kitching who triumphs in front of his teammate Sam Gornall. But a very tough race. It was always going to be a very tough race in Junior TKM and in Minimax. But the result is a very interesting one as they go to the 3rd round 4 weeks from now. It's going to be very interesting from here on in. So let's see how that all finishes up. A warning flag ended up there for Declan Russell just before the finish there. 2-3 laps from the end. I'm not sure what that was for. That might have had potentially something to do with Jez Williams, but I'm not sure if that's likely because Williams was in front of him at the time. But a very exciting battle nonetheless for the drivers in TKM Junior and Minimax. Louis Harvey wins from Harry Wainwright and Connor Kearney in Junior TKM. In the Minimax, it's a 1-2 for Coles Racing. Archie Kitching in front of Sam Gornall. And 3rd across the line, Tristan Rennie. So it looks as though the recovery job for Jez Williams is already sharply underway. There are just 5 races left here at Trent Valley Kart Club on what has been a really exciting race day at the PF International Circuit. If you're trackside and you want to relive it, you can, of course, go to the Spreaker application and download it free to your smartphones or your tablets. It is free. Spreaker, that is Spreaker with an R, and you can listen back to it post-race on Downforce UK. Just search for TVKC, and you should come up with the live streams. You can even go back and listen to the qualifying again from yesterday, as well as the heats this morning, and all of the finals from today. So, great racing still to come from the last 5 classes of the day, all of which are finals. Senior X30, Ayami Cadet, Rotax, Honda Cadet, and Rotax 177. So it will be a very interesting end to the day. The junior races are all done and dusted now. Winners in X30, Rotax, and TKM are decided. It's now time for the senior classes in X30 and Rotax, the Rotax 177s, and the Cadets, of course, which many people come to see. But now that Jez Williams' kart has been removed from the scene of his accident, he's okay, by the way, and he's walking out. So that's fine and dandy. It is time to give you the starting grid for the next final. And it's the A final, the last race of the day for Senior X30. So far, so good for Louis Westover. He's in pole position. from Thomas Turner in second. Cole Kilner is third on the second row of the grid alongside Gary Edwards. Archie Tillett comes next from Tom Wood. Matthew Hodson lines beside Oliver Hodgson on the fourth row of the grid, and then it's Teddy Pritchard-Williams and Philip Rawson rounding out the top 10. Lewis Thompson comes next from Alex Wang, then Harry Platten and Max Jean, Matthew Armstrong and Ben Hodge, Tom Fleming and Louis Short, from Alex Spinks and Oliver Greetham, Jake Douglas and Harry Torpey, Emil Karjalainen and Ewan Wilson, Nathan Chafer, Rufus Hutt, Joe Reeve-Smith, Tom Hankins, Cameron Coombs, Artu Salmela, Josh Graham, Finley Cross, Andrew Trevor and Charlie Webster. It's a busy grid in Senior X30. It was always going to be very fast and furious racing, but now comes the moment of truth as we figure out who of our Senior X30 drivers is going to emerge as the round 2 winner. It was very tight last time out, of course, in Senior X30, but there is plenty to go for as Ben Barnicoat, the winner last time out, is not here. Oliver Hodgson, the second place last time, is down in 8th, so it is pretty much open season for a lot of drivers out there. Louis Westover was 4th last time. Turner was 3rd. They are on the front row of the grid together. What can they do? Let's find out as we go racing. Cracking start for Louis Westover. Into second place immediately comes Cole Kilner. And over the grass, they've got one of the drivers going through there. That looked to me potentially like Matthew Hudson going over the grass. I don't want to confirm it for definite, but we'll double check as they come through at the end of the lap to see what the positions are. The squabble begins out of the bridge, and down for the lead comes Cole Kilner. Kilner goes for the lead immediately, and Turner's going to get through in a second. Westover down to 4th now because through comes Edwards to 3rd, and then the 2 PFI carts are almost side by side. Tillett and Hodgson are split by Philip Rawson of the CRG squad, who now goes up the inside of Tillett. But Tillett and Hodgson are working together to try and get back past Rawson, and it's a spin on the first lap from Ewan Wilson. Ewan Wilson is right down at the back. He's had all the bad luck he needs for one weekend. What a shame to see him there again. But here comes Cole Kilner, your race leader, who takes the lead for Mick Barrett Racing. Up at the front. Second place, Thomas Turner. Third is Gary Edwards. Fourth place is Louis Westover from Rawson, Tillett, Hodgson, Wood, Wang, Hudson, Jean, and Lewis Thompson ahead of Teddy Pritchard-Williams. So they come over the Litchfield Bridge. Down the drop for the right-hander again. And down the back straight once more. So far, so good for Gary Edwards, having moved his way into second place. Watch Westover round the outside and making at least a third. Cuts back across. Edwards is panicking. Where's Westover going? He's going round the outside. That's where. How has he done that? Westover goes from 4th to 2nd in 2 corners round the outside of both hairpins. Superb from Westover. Just when you think you've seen the best from Louis, he digs out something like that and reminds you just how good he is. That's incredible. Now he's second behind Kilner once more, and Westover is right back into the hunt. I'm impressed. That was absolutely stupendous. Now he's in second, chasing down Kilner. Turner is third from Edwards. Hodgson, Tillett, Rawson, Wood, Hudson, Jean and Thompson. Alexander Huang in 12th. Oh, and there's a little bit of a nudge there as Turner makes the move on the inside for Louis Westover. Westover got crossed up. He manages to get the cart stopped. He is in 3rd place, so he is still pushing as up the inside comes Tillett. Tillett gets through, and his teammate Hodgson goes through. There's not a lot of room for Edwards. Tillett decides to concede the place. It was Hodgson in front. Now Tillett is going for 5th position on the exit of Edwards. Might get some support from the 34 of Thomas Wood, who does cut through. Wood now goes for Kilner. Wood goes through for Edwards, I should say. Kilner's still your race leader, with Turner in 2nd. Westover is 3rd. They come through out of the Mike Wilson complex again. So Westover's still 3rd place, but here comes Oliver Hodgson. Hodgson's in 4th, so here we go. The 4 best drivers in this race, you could argue. Kilner behind Turner, who leads the race. Turner, Kilner, Westover and Hodgson, and Kilner goes for the lead on Thomas Turner. Westover blocks Hodgson, but Hodgson gets through on Turner because Kilner's through. Westover's through. Hodgson gets past Westover. Westover drops to 4th behind Turner. Gets back on the power before Tillett gets close enough. But Hodgson's through to 2nd. Hodgson is suddenly back in contention again. 2nd last time out behind Ben Barnicoat. But he's not here, so it's Hodgson's to command if he can get past Cole Kilner. So Hodgson, despite a horrific qualifying effort, has fought his way valiantly up the order. And yet again, he is now in contention for a victory. So, off of the Mike Wilson complex. Hodgson needs to get a good exit off this chicane. He's still working hard as he comes through. Back down the main straight again. Is this going to be a great run for Hodgson down to the first corner? He's not quite close enough to go for the move there. But really exciting battling from Hodgson. He's now going to try and make the lunge, is he? No, he just wants to get away. So he wants to work with Kilner to pull out a gap. Turner's still there in third. Westover in fourth position. Hodgson now through to second place, as we know. Archie Tillett is there in fifth behind Westover. Hodgson working with Cole Kilner. Wants to get away from Thomas Turner. Does not want the threat of the O-Plate winner in behind him in third. But that's not going to be the case for long, because Turner goes for Hodgson. Hodgson goes for the switchback. And they're side by side again. Westover's now coming in, but Turner holds second as Hodgson bails out of the retaliation. So Kilner leads. Turner second. Third Hodgson. Fourth Westover. Fifth is Archie Tillett. This is a really exciting battle as they continue on through the Mike Wilson complex and into the final chicane. So far, so good for Cole Kilner. Oliver Hodgson runs well in third position behind Thomas Turner. Then it's Westover, and then it's Archie Tillett. Not far behind them, we've got Tom Wood, Phil Rawson, and Gary Edwards chasing them down. So things are going to get interesting from here on in for Cole Kilner, because Thomas Turner is still there in second. Hodgson third, running beautifully, waiting for his prime moment. He's still got plenty of time, 4.5 minutes plus the additional lap. Not a panic at all. Further back, that's a beautiful move from Lewis Thompson. He gets the move on Teddy Pritchard-Williams, who ends up being squeezed there, 2 wheels on the grass by Oliver Greetham. Gets a move back on the inside and manages to shake off the hunt from 142 Ben Hodge. And it looks, oh, and a spin from one of the Cosmics. Now, who is that that's gone? I think that is the 17. That is the KR Sport driver of Jake Douglas, I'm afraid. So Jake Douglas has spun it there at turn 8. He gets going again, but has fallen down the order. So Kilner leads. Turner second from Westover and Tillett. It's 3 wide into turn 1, further back nearly. That was a very tough battle there. That was Greetham, Fleming, Pritchard, Williams and Hodge. Nobody prepared to give best. Great racing from all of them. And Kilner's lost the lead now. Turner's gone through. Westover's coming at him. Where's Hodgson? Where's Oliver Hodgson? Oliver Hodgson appears to have dropped back down to 5th or 6th position. No, even worse than that. Hodgson is behind the 25 of Hudson. So that's dropped him to 11th place. Hodgson is out of contention for the win for now. Well, drama for Hodgson. He really didn't need that. But for Kilner and Westover, they're now fighting for second and third. Tillett is there in fourth, upholding the honours for the PFI squad. So, for the moment, it is Thomas Turner. He leads the way for Mark Litchfield Racing out of the final corner. Second place, Cole Kilner, still pushing hard. Louis Westover goes with him. Tillett is fourth. Fifth is Tom Wood from Gary Edwards. Rawson, Platten, Max Jean, Hudson and Hodgson. From Thompson in 12th, Tom Fleming, Greetham, Pritchard Williams and Ben Hodge. And there's wheel banging to the first corner. Oh, as Tillett makes the move. He gets past Kilner. Looks like Westover made the move on Kilner. They both ran wide and Tillett's got them both. Kilner now coming back for Westover and gets into third place. But Archie Tillett is through to second place. Now a late lunge from Kilner. He nudges the back of Tillett, trying to come through on the exit. Westover's trying to get the undercut. And this is all allowing Thomas Turner a clear berth for the victory. This is great news for Thomas Turner. The O-Plate is absolutely where he wants to be. And it's not really going to be a panic button for him. He leads comfortably as Thomas Turner now has daylight between himself and second place Archie Tillett, who has fought valiantly to get there, but at the expense of a bid for the win. Cole Kilner now dives for the inside line. Does not give best. Tillett slams the door in his face. And that's caused a right ricochet. So Kilner now backs into Edwards. Edwards is there in fourth. Fifth place is now Tom Wood. Westover drops to sixth. Make that seventh now from Rawson. Rawson gets through. And so too coming through is going to be the 141 of Harry Platten. Matthew Hudson is in the mix as well. He gets by Westover. And then next is Hodgson. So Westover, again the bad luck does not leave him. So once more, he has got that monkey to shake off his back. Westover was amazing in the heats. It's all come undone in the final again. But Thomas Turner looks absolutely planted in the lead of this race. He's got a brilliant gap now because of the jostling for second. Tillett gets to second and has got a bit of a gap between himself now and Cole Kilner, but that is no compensation to any of the drivers further back, as there is a warning that has gone out to, I think, the 39, that is. It's either the 39 or the 59, so that's going to be either Oliver Greetham or Philip Rawson. And it is Greetham, 59, Oliver Greetham, who gets the warning flag. So he's been in an incident somewhere that I haven't spotted. But it's Thomas Turner who leads on what is ultimately going to be the penultimate lap. Well, no, actually, I think we will get one more out of it. So 2 laps to go at the end of this one, potentially. Tillett second, third Kilner, fourth Edwards, fifth is Thomas Wood. Then it's Philip Rawson in 6th position, fighting his way forward. And problems there for the 71. Yet again, dire straits for Harry Torpey. He was the leading privateer for most of this weekend, but he's just had no end of bad luck in the last 2 races. Turner leads the way, and he leads by 2 seconds to Archie Tillett. Tillett has got Cole Kilner with a new fastest lap of the race. They're in 3rd position trying to catch him. But Thomas Turner's not going to get caught in the lead of the race here. Archie Tillett second, Cole Kilner third from Edwards, Wood, Rawson, Platten, Hudson, Westover, Hodgson and Jean. Lewis Thompson 12th. So they come down the back straight and they will go into the last lap of the race next time by. But Philip Rawson's made a great lunge there on the 34 of Wood. So Rawson gets through into 5th position. The CRG driver still going strong. And he's going to continue that pressure cooker as they come up and over the top of the crest. Up towards Bobby Game. A really strong run. Good to see CRG doing well on British shores. They, of course, are celebrating a victory in the Dubai O-Plate in the shifter category 2 weeks ago. So CRG are having a very good time of it at the moment. But now Rawson wants to dig and find something more than 5th position. And the 3 carts in front of him are going to start jostling. Tillett, Kilner and Edwards may give him a chance. Tillett defends valiantly. Kilner shakes off Edwards. Rawson is still next in the line in 5th. But Thomas Turner is going to get a victory here. Thomas Turner through the turn 6 hairpin. 2nd place is anybody's guess. Tillett is defending valiantly. Kilner's held up and Edwards is going to go alongside him. Trying to get into 3rd position. 3 wide into the braking zone. There's not enough room for all 3, but somehow there is. Tillett, Kilner and Edwards staying together. Edwards has got Westover. Rawson has got Westover all over the back of him. Hodgson is in the traffic jam and just can't seem to get anything going his way. There's big contact on the last lap. 3 or 4 carts in the walls. We'll pick that up later. But Thomas Turner, out of the final turn, is victorious at Trent Valley Kart Club. Thomas Turner wins the 2nd round of the Winter Series from Archie Tillett and Gary Edwards ahead of Cole Kilner. Philip Rawson is 5th from Louis Westover. Tom Wood and Harry Platten. Lewis Thompson and Oliver Hodgson. And then we have the gaggle of carts that came together. Rufus Hunt, Thomas Fleming, and Alexander Huang involved in it. But there's a lot of damage at the end of that race. So several carts in difficulty. But outside the top 10, behind Oliver Hodgson, who finishes 10th, is Max Jean and Teddy Pritchard-Williams, Matthew Armstrong and Oliver Greetham, Matthew Hudson and Alex Spinks from Emil Karjalainen and Ben Hodge, Nathan Chafer, Louis Short, Artu Salmela, Thomas Fleming, Ewan Wilson, Rufus Hunt, Joe Rees-Smith, Alex Wang, Thomas Hankins, Josh Graham, Charlie Webster, Cameron Coombs, Finley Cross, Andrew Trevor, and Harry Torpey. With just the one retirement, you recall Jake Douglas, who spun earlier in the race and ended up bringing the kart into the pits to retire regardless. And Mario Mills and Fraz Fennick failed to start after their involvement in the first corner incident back at the very first heat of the day when their karts were well and truly destroyed in that incident. So, a very exciting run and a very exciting race as the race has now ended, sadly, for the 17 of Jake Douglas. He didn't bring it into the pits. In fact, he had another incident up at the top end of the circuit. So Jake Douglas, unfortunately, involved in more than one incident today. But with 4 races to go before we wrap up proceedings on the chilly Lincolnshire countryside, it's IAMI Cadet time. And everybody who is anybody who loves their cadet racing will be glued to the monitors. And trackside here, they will be absolutely roaring to go. So it is time to talk you through the Army Cadet final grid. Kia Nakamura-Berta and Brandon Carr on the front row of the grid, from Aidan Neate and Sonny Smith, Harley Keeble and Harry Jr. Burgoyne, Vinnie Phillips and Ashton Hodgson, and rounding out the top 10, Nathan Tye and Fionn McLaughlin. Then it's Archie Clark and Micah Taylor, from Taylor Origin, Ethan Jeff Hall, Macaulay Bishop and Charlie Hart, Ella Stevens and Lewis Werrell, Alex O'Grady and Zach Knight, from Michael Gray and Mondi Junior Canini, Callum Graffin and Will Knight, Mason Bishop and Edison Purcell. And then we have Alfie Garford and Oliver Phillips, Joe Ribbin and Finn Leslie, Gabe Fairbrother and Alfie Gallagher, and then the four who came through from the B final, Ben Folland, Jay Holtby, George Robinson, and it turns out it's Jack Cunningham who comes through for fourth place. And that is a rather shame, because that means that Cathal Clark was given a penalty. So unfortunately, does not make the final this time, but no doubt in 4 weeks' time, Cathal Clark will be back for more. So the formation lap runs round, and the drivers are obviously preparing for action in what is set to be a really intense fight in Army Cadet. Kia Nakamura-Berta, Brandon Carr, Aidan Neate, Sonny Smith, Harley Keeble and Harry Jr. Burgoyne. And once again, it's nearly a whitewash of Fusion and Oliver Rowland Motorsport in the top 10, save for one, and that one is Fionn McLaughlin. He's the danger man in 10th on the grid. Here they come. Is it going to be a clean start? You betcha. Here we go. Charging through to the first corner. It's a great start for Kia Nakamura-Berta. Brandon Carr trying to maintain the position in second place. Aidan Neate trying to go right round the outside. Did he get there to second place? Not quite. He's had to hang back a little bit. And a bit of a challenge for the lead. Aidan Neate has fallen to fourth position as a result of all of that. But there is still a great squabble as they come off the turn, round turn 5 and down the back straight. So far, so good for Kia Nakamura-Berta. Watching Brandon Carr's every move to the braking zone. Carr trying to go round the outside of the hairpin. Keep the car travelling through. Third place now is Aidan Neate. He's getting on with it. As round the outside, Brandon Carr is going to go wheel to wheel with Nakamura-Berta. This is a chance for Neate. He's on the inside of Brandon Carr and gets in a second place. So Kia Nakamura-Berta and Aidan Neate battling away at the lead of the race now. With third position, Brandon Carr, and fourth place, that looks like Harley Keeble in front of Sonny Smith. So a great start to the race then as they come through the Mike Wilson complex for the first time. And they will charge out of the left-hander down towards the final chicane. They'll go through the left and through the right, and it's Fusions 1 and 2 with the ORM squad 3rd, 4th, 5th, and I think 6th as well for Harry Jr. Burgoyne. Indeed it is. And then comes Vinnie Phillips in P7, appropriately enough, as number 7. So it's Nakamura-Berta, Neate, Carr, Keeble, Sonny Smith, and then Harry Jr. Burgoyne from Vinnie Phillips, Nathan Tye, Ashton Hodgson and Micah Taylor. Ella Stevens is up 6 places already, up into 11th position. She's absolutely determined that she's not going to finish low down this time. Fionn McLaughlin is 12th, ahead of Bishop and Archie Clark, then Ethan Jeff Hall. So some great racing in the opening stages and some very tasty battles indeed. But at the front, it is Kia Nakamura-Berta. Aidan Neate has fallen back to 5th now as the ORM carts have got in there once more. Brandon Carr, Harley Keeble and Sonny Smith. Then it is Neate, Harry Jr. Burgoyne, and then next up it is Nathan Tye. So the field continue to attack on the far side of the circuit, up through Bobby Game Corner, through the right-hander, up towards the Mike Wilson complex. They're going to come back to the chicane once again, into the left. Coaxing the curbs, in through the right, back onto the main straight. Kia Nakamura-Berta unchallenged at the moment, but there's still time to kill. Second place, Brandon Carr. Then it's Keeble, then Smith, then Aidan Neate, then Harry Jr. Burgoyne. Next up is Nathan Tye from Phillips, Hodgson, Taylor, Stevens, Clark, Bishop, Jeff Hall, Origin, Canini. Fionn McLaughlin really struggling now, down to 17th. Not had the best of luck in this run. They come off the Litchfield Bridge, and it's still Kia Nakamura-Berta, but Aidan Neate has tightened up to the ORM trio. The Oliver Rowland Motorsport carts are now the meat on Fusion Motorsport bread of the sandwich. As up the inside, it's 1 and 2 for Oliver Rowland Motorsport now. First and second, they both get past Kia Nakamura-Berta. Keeble in front of Carr in front of Keeble. Nakamura-Berta retaliates as Neate has already dealt with Sonny Smith to get up into 4th place. And yellow flags, that's Ella Stevens. Again, Ella Stevens bang out of luck as she gets caught up there in the gaggle of carts and spins at turn 7 on the second hairpin. Such a shame. The 2017 Birrell Art Cadet champion really struggling there. Manages to get herself going again without losing too many places. but definitely not where she wanted to be. Now, here is the battle once again. Your race lead has changed. It's Brandon Carr who leads. Kia Nakamura Berta going to try and take it back, though. Across the line and through goes Kia Nakamura Berta. Second place from Brandon Carr. Harley Keeble swarming about. Are those spots of rain I see on the window? Now, that is going to make things very spicy in this Ayami Cadet final. I hope it's not the case, but they are all on slick tyres, don't forget. So this could end up being a very dramatic race if there are spots of rain. And I am starting to see them on the window. So I think it's just spitting at the moment, but certainly not enough to cause a major issue. Up the inside comes Aidan Neat for third into turn 7. The hairpin, the left-hander, and he's through into third. Past Brandon Carr. Harley Keeble now second behind Kia Nakamura Berta, the race leader. They jockey for position still. And it looks like whatever it was on the window has now dissipated already. So just a flash in the pan. Thank goodness for that. Up through the Mike Wilson complex. They are still going to battle away. But it's Kia Nakamura Berta who heads the field. Don't forget, he's going to be challenging for the Honda Cadet title as well later today, or certainly for the race victory. And now Aidan Neat assists his rival, Harley Keeble, to get close to Aidan's teammate, Kia Nakamura Berta. The three of them still jockeying away for position for the lead of the race. Fourth is Carr, then Burgoyne, Ty, Phillips, Hodgson, Taylor, Smith, Clark, Bishop and Orridge. They come off the bridge once again, down the back straight. Kia Nakamura Berta, side by side further back, that's Burgoyne, getting a move on Aidan Neat. No, wait a minute, is that Neat in front? It is. So it's Nakamura Berta that's dropped down the order. That's Aidan Neat leading Nakamura Berta down to 6th. So Aidan Neat now leads the race. Yellow flags at the Litchfield Bridge. So we've lost somebody under the bridge. And that looks to me like we have had a bit of a delayed moment there for Gabe Fairbrother, who's had an incident with Ben Folland, I think it is. Finn Leslie and Michael Gray have had an incident there as well. So it looks like Michael Gray's got away with it, but Ben Folland and Finn Leslie are off at the Litchfield Bridge. So we're yellow flags there under the Litchfield Bridge, and a warning flag has gone out to Harley Keeble, who is now in second place with his teammate right behind him, Brandon Carr. So the incident has been sorted as they go through to the first corner. But it's Aidan Neat who leads from Keeble and Carr. Then Ty in 4th position. Is that a change for second place? I think Brandon Carr has made the move on Keeble. So they are going down the back straight together now with Aidan Neat in the mix. Then it's Nathan Ty with his teammate, Harry Jr. Burgoyne in the mix. Kia Nakamura Berta being caught by Vinnie Phillips. Then it is Ashton Hodgson. Micah Taylor, the privateer, is in the mix of the top 10 now. And here comes Sonny Smith making his bit up the inside of Macaulay Bishop and gets the place back. Fionn McLaughlin comes next, fighting his way further forward. They come through into the S's again, and there's still more opportunities for an overtake. A few drivers trying a few choice moves down to Bobby Game in through the right-hander, and it looks like somebody's been hung out to dry rather badly. I think that was Sonny Smith, who ended up losing a few places there. But they come off the final turn, and Aidan Neat still leads the way in a rather dramatic fashion as they come through down the main straight. Neat is your leader, Carr second, Keeble third, Ty fourth. Then there's a big gap back to Kia Nakamura Berta, and an absolute squabble into turn 1. Several drivers quarrelling away for what looks like 8th position. Harry Jr. Burgoyne was the one who got hung out to dry. Hodgson is 9th from Bishop, Orridge, Taylor, McLaughlin, Clark, and Monty Jr. Canini. That's the squabble. Ethan Jeff Hall's in the mix there as well. But Aidan Neat is your leader. And it's Brandon Carr and Harley Keeble, 2nd and 3rd. 4th is Nathan Ty. He's almost playing a rear gunner to his 2 teammates up the road. But if there's a jostle, Nathan Ty is in the box seat for a podium finish. Archie Clark's putting on a good show in the midfield, trying to pick off a couple of drivers as he makes a move on Macaulay Bishop. He supports Micah Taylor, but Archie Clark can't get past either of them as a result. Some stupendous racing in Ayami Cadet yet again with 2 minutes plus the additional lap to go. I make that 3 more laps of the PFI circuit. This Ayami Cadet final of the Winter Series second round is going to be intriguing. Here they come again down the main straight. Neat is running well. Carr and Keeble, 2nd and 3rd. 4th position for Nathan Ty, a few car legs back. Then it's Kia Nakamura Berta from his teammate Vinnie Phillips. And then Sonny Smith from Burgoyne, McLaughlin, Hodgson, Orridge, Taylor, Bishop and Clark Ethan Jeff Hall is next. It's a tough old battle in Army Cadet. It always was, and now there's the move for second place as Aidan Neat hangs on to the lead for the moment, but Keeble's gone past Brandon Carr, and now he's going to try and make the move for the lead. He dives for the inside, and his teammate goes with him. They bang wheels with Neat. They're side by side nearly, and watch out for the man in fourth. Nathan Ty's going to try and come right round the outside. They've manhandled Aidan Neat. Nathan Ty gets squeezed out wide to fourth, but Aidan Neat is down to third position. Harley Keeble is your leader. Brandon Carr is second, and Aidan Neat's down to third in the closing stages of this race. They come back up to the Mike Wilson complex, and Aidan Neat's getting stuck in there again for second. I think he's got through in a second position, round the far side. The lead of the race, forget that. He leads it. Incredible from Aidan Neat to fight back to the victory. Now he's got 2 to go, and he's got to keep it honest. Nathan Ty in third position. Looks like Harley Keeble has been squeezed down to battle with Vinnie Phillips. So it's Neat, Carr, Ty, and Nakamura Berta. Big dive for the inside line. That's Nakamura Berta going for third on Nathan Ty, and he's got there. Nathan Ty trying to chop across to stop Vinnie Phillips coming through. That's worked out well in his favour. Phillips drifts wide. Sonny Smith and Harry Jr. Burgoyne have both drifted past. Sorry, not Harry Jr. Burgoyne. It is Harley Keeble. So Sonny Smith and Harley Keeble have both drifted through. Here comes a change for the lead. Brandon Carr on the inside of Aidan Neat. They bang wheels. And Nakamura Berta against them both. There's a spin from Nathan Ty. Oh, disaster for Nathan. That was a genuine crack at the victory there. But just like Ella Stevens, who ironically he ends up directly in front of, he has pushed so hard and ended up coming a cropper. So now at the far end of the circuit, the Mike Wilson complex, Aidan Neat has a lead that's going to be very tough to shake off as the 88 gets a warning. Now that is Callum Graffin. They come out of the final turn and down the main straight, and a warning too for Brandon Carr. So Kia Nakamura Berta is the new race leader. Sonny Smith second from Carr, Neat, Keeble and Phillips. Harry Jr. Burgoyne comes next, but we're still not done. Sonny Smith and Brandon Carr are going to work together to try and close up. And how about this? Kia Nakamura Berta versus Sonny Smith. This is what we'll get from the Honda Cadets later. But up the inside, Brandon Carr now goes for second. Very nearly civil war. They're just letting Kia Nakamura Berta win this going away. Surely they can't catch him now. It's round the outside. Aidan Neat gets past Sonny Smith. And now he's going to tuck back for the inside. Brandon Carr squeezing him. But Neat will not resist. He comes through. Vinnie Phillips tries to come through as well. He's up to fourth. Aidan Neat fights through to second. What a run from Aidan Neat. Absolutely stellar. How did he find the grip? But it's academic for the race victory. Aidan Neat is through too. Oh no, there's contact. 2 of them have come off there, and it looks like one of them is Aidan Neat, but Kia Nakamura Berta's got the victory, and he's elated with it. What a drive. Second for Sonny Smith. Third for Harley Keeble. It's Carr and Phillips, and it looks like it's Aidan Neat and Nathan Ty. Aidan Neat and Harry Jr. Burgoyne that came off. Eventually, Aidan Neat crosses the line, but it's 21st. It's agonizing. Nakamura Berta wins. Sonny Smith is second from Harley Keeble in third. Brandon Carr fourth from Fionn McLaughlin fighting back to P5. Great effort again from the Irishman. P5 is amazing from McLaughlin. P6 for Vinnie Phillips. Ashton Hodgson is seventh from Macaulay Bishop. Monday Junior Canini in ninth place in the top 10. And rounding out that top 10 is the privateer Micah Taylor from Orridge, Burgoyne, Archie Clark, Ethan Jeff Hall, Werrell, O'Grady, Hart, Ty, Stevens, Knight, Aidan Neat, Edison Purcell, Will Knight, Callum Graffin, Oliver Phillips, Jack Cunningham from Gallagher, Garford, Holtby, Bishop, Rippin, Robinson, Fairbrother, Folland and Gray. And the only retiree from the race was Mark Baines Motorsports young man, Finn Leslie. That was fireworks aplenty. Great racing in Army Cadet. We always knew it was going to be. But what a win for Kia Nakamura Berta. What if he does it again in the Honda Cadets in 2 races' time? He's got to get out of that cart and straight into the next one. But I have to say, commendable from the Strawberry drivers. Fionn McLaughlin and Monday Junior Canini fought valiantly and both managed to bag a place in the top 10 there. Not easy considering where they were to start with. So not a bad effort from several of the drivers in the mix. But it's a win for Kia Nakamura Berta, and that sets him up for a great run in the second round of the championship. For round 3 next time, he's going to have an awful lot to do again, but we can't wait to see how that plays out. So, senior Rotax time now, and that's going to be an interesting challenge. It's going to be a very close grid as well for senior Rotax. We've obviously seen a lot of tough racing over the course of the last few hours, but certainly from senior Rotax, it's been an amazing challenge. So let's talk you through the grid. Tom Edmonds and Sam Harrison in front of Ben Burgess and Angie Stenning. James Lingard and Travis Coyne. Ben Donkin and Guy Cunnington. George Holbrook and Lewis Halliday. From Reese Hunter and Dan Yowd. Michael Roots and Sam Stansbury. Alex Baker and James Watson. Kieran Gifford and James Lowther. Lewis Smith and Joseph Hunt. George Smith and Jodine Newman. Dan Jones and Louis Fleet. Sam Sanders and Finley Sword. Thomas Walker, Teddy Clinton, Harry Barker and Mackenzie Morris. They're the ones that finish up the day in that order on the starting grid for senior Rotax. Just 3 races to go before we shut up shop here at the Trent Valley Kart Club's second round of the Winter Series, and I don't want it to end. A really good racing so far. Tom Edmonds and Sam Harrison have had a really strong performance over the course of this particular weekend. Sam Harrison has popped himself into second place with some great consistency. Let's not forget the likes of Burgess and Donkin, who benefited brilliantly from the demises of drivers such as Cunnington and Lowther. Kieran Gifford was one of those in the mix as well. But it's Tom Edmonds with consistency that gets pole position. There's a lot of drivers out of position though, so this could be a flying race. Edmonds, Harrison, Burgess, Stenning, Lingard, Coyne, Donkin, Cunnington, Holbrook, Halliday, Hunter, Yowd, Root, Stansbury, Baker, Watson, Gifford and Lowther. Here we go. Charging for the first corner. Edmonds gets through, no problem at all. And over the grass, we saw somebody in the midfield there going across. And 2 or 3 more have joined him, but they're all still facing the same way. But Edmonds has got Ben Burgess in behind him now. Looks to me as though Sam Harrison has slipped to 3rd position. But he is going to go straight forward again. Down the back straight. In fact, that looks like Lingard, who's there in 3rd position. Right round the outside. That's an interesting challenge and squeezed out wide from the 44 of Sam Harrison. So not the best of starts for him as he drops back into about 8th position now. Still trying to battle his way forward as the 70 goes grass tracking in a straight line. And trying to get the kart stopped for the chicane. Lost so many places there, Travis Coyne. That's a real shame. And we got a spin. We've got a spin on the way to the S's and has hit the barriers. That's one of the Project 1 machines. I'm going to try and see who that is. I can't quite make it out from here. It looks to me like that is Joseph Hunt. So Joseph Hunt appears to be out of the race. And obviously yellow flags are there because Joe Hunt has ended his race in rather ignominious circumstances. Angie Stenning has dropped a long way down the order now as well. So Angie Stenning finds himself all the way back at the tail end of the field. He is having a miserable start to his race. But the leaders are Edmonds from Burgess. No, they're not. Cunnington's come up to 2nd place. He was 3rd at the end of lap 1. He's now 2nd behind Burgess. So Edmonds is down to 4th. Lingard has got through past him as well. So it's Burgess, Cunnington, Lingard, Edmonds, Donkin, Holbrook. And trying to get back onto the racetrack, that is Joe Hunt. And there's a mechanical flag going out. And that is for the 24 of Dan Jones. Yet again, Dan Jones has got mechanical problems. So Dan Jones, sadly, is out of the race effectively with a mechanical flag. There's no way he'll be competitive for the rest of the race. So over the line, it's Burgess and Cunnington from Lingard and Edmonds. Then Holbrook, who's got past Ben Donkin in the persistence car. Sam Harrison is next. Then Reese Hunter, James Lowther and Michael Roots. What a top 10. But Guy Cunnington is putting pressure on Ben Burgess. We're going to see some really interesting challenges from here on in. Up the inside, there goes Donkin. Makes the move on Lingard and trying to get the move up the inside too. 4th, 3rd is George Holbrook. Trying to get the moves on Tom Edmonds. That's not going to work out for him. They break for the hairpin, and that's George Holbrook trying to hold it together. That's Reese Hunter making up some places on the Dan Holland racing machine. Great to see Michael Roots up there as well, one of the top runners in the Birrell Arts Super Elites over the last 2-3 years. He's been a great race winner there. But great to see him in Senior Rotax at Trent Valley Kart Club, putting on a great show. But Ben Burgess and Guy Cunnington battling for the lead of the race. Third is Edmonds in front of Holbrook. Then it's Donkin, Lingard, Hunter, Lowther, Harrison and Halliday. With Michael Roots 11th from Baker and Gifford. Boyne is making a comeback too. Then Watson and the two Smiths. Lewis ahead of George. And then it's Sam Sanders and Jody Newman. Down the back straight. Guy Cunnington giving Ben Burgess plenty of pressure. Into the hairpin. Is there going to be a chance to come through? Down to the braking zone. Into the hairpin. No chances yet. Third position is still pretty safe and sound for Edmonds. Holbrook's right there, but he's not making the moves yet. They want to close up on the leaders. Donkin, Hunter, Lingard and Lowther come next. James Lowther up to 8th position, just knocking on the door of James Lingard. Looks to me as though Reese Hunter has dealt with Lingard for the moment and is now knocking on the door of Ben Donkin. So through they come, the leaders, Burgess and Cunnington, battling away for the victory down the final straight. But Burgess has got enough pace to run from the front. Edmonds, Holbrook, Donkin and Hunter come next. Lingard is next in pursuit. And then, of course, you've got Lowther from Harrison, Halliday and Michael Roots. Then Alex Baker in 12th for Holland Racing. Is that a change for the third position spot? It's certainly a change for the 5th. That is Reese Hunter, having got past Ben Donkin. No, my apologies. Donkin and Hunter have both got past Lingard. So they've moved forward. Then it is the second DHR of George Holbrook. So Holbrook has ended up behind his teammate. But Reese Hunter has made it very clear, I'm going to fight my way through. Thank you, sir. And there's a warning flag that's gone out for the 73 now. Now, that is Finley Sword. I'm not sure what he has supposed to have done. I didn't see any transgressions. That doesn't mean he hasn't done something that's incurred the wrath of the stewards. But it's just a warning for the moment. Burgess and Cunnington. Edmonds, Donkin, Lingard, Hunter, Holbrook, Lowther, Harrison, Halliday. That's how close it is at the front. Michael Roots is only 4/10 back from that, shaking off Alex Baker. But from 3rd down to 10th, it is ridiculously close. Burgess and Cunnington have broken clear up at the front, but here comes Reese Hunter. I'm doing it again. Reese Hunter up the inside of Donkin, and it looks as though Lingard's got through, Holbrook's got through, Lowther's got through, Holbrook's now going for Lingard. A massive lunge from Harrison on the inside of Lowther, and that drops them both behind Donkin and Halliday. Wow, that jostle was a tough one to keep on top of, but they just about squabble away. So now the racing continues as they come down to the start-finish straight once again. The leaders are well clear. Burgess and Cunnington will fight this race between them. But Ben Burgess has taken a race win already today. Guy Cunnington, you could argue, was well and truly robbed one earlier. But here he goes up the inside. Guy Cunnington going to make the move. He's there. Guy Cunnington hits the front. Second place for Burgess and third now for Reese Hunter. He has broken into third position in front of Tom Edmonds. And then it's going to be Lingard in front of Holbrook as they battle for 5th place. Harrison's a long way back. Lowther has made the move on Donkin. As to, from a long, long way back comes Halliday. Tries to make the move on the inside of the 47 of Alex Baker. And that has not really come to blows. But the man in real trouble there, unfortunately, is the 48 of Ben Donkin. The kart is breaking down. He's lost power, so Ben Donkin appears to be out of the race. He's going to have to come into the pits, I think, and it will be game over for Donkin. Yes, indeed. Ben Donkin is out, and he's absolutely distraught. That was going so well for him. But Cunnington leads now from Burgess. Hunter is third in front of Lingard, Holbrook, Edmonds, Harrison and Lowther. Baker is 9th, Halliday 10th to round them out. The top 10. 2 minutes and 40 left on the clock, plus the additional lap. Still going well for Guy Cunnington, who leads the way in front of Ben Burgess. Here comes the move from Holbrook. Dives up the inside of Lingard. Not a lot of room, but he makes it stick. Nice work from Holbrook to get into P4. Edmonds gets a jostle from Harrison. They both dive up the inside of each other. Harrison goes out wide. That's enough for Lowther to get him as well. Edmonds comes back through, of course. Edmonds in front of Lowther. I hope that made sense to anybody because I was trying to make sense of it myself. Very close indeed as they run together. But Guy Cunnington leads from Ben Burgess. Reese Hunter is about a second back, but he is absolutely flying in the bid to catch them. Burgess is going to make the move on the inside line. Takes the lead into turn 1. Now that's great news for Reese Hunter because he can start to get close to Cunnington once again. Burgess leading. Cunnington second. Hunter is third. He set the fastest lap at 58.55. He is determined to catch them, and he's not far off. Fourth place is Holbrook. Then it's Lingard. James Lowther now sixth in front of Harrison. And then it is Tom Edmonds from Michael Roots, who's come up to ninth place. Good work from Michael Roots. And the 57 is there now in front of Lewis Halliday and Alex Baker. Next up is the 71. Despite the damaged side pod, Kieran Gifford is still going well. Kieran Gifford trying to get back into contention. But the top three are now nose to tail. Cunnington has been caught by Reese Hunter. The race leader is still Ben Burgess. They come through together. Cunnington may have to let Reese Hunter go and attack Ben Burgess himself as they go down the main straight with 1:03 to go. But no, Reese Hunter is working with Cunnington. Another warning flag goes out. We've had one for Lewis Halliday, and now we have another one, this time for the 47. That is Alexander Baker. Oh, and it's contact! Contact for the lead of the race. That is, the two of them have come together, Guy Hunter and Guy Cunnington. Yet again, Reese Hunter and Guy Cunnington have hit each other. That's the second time in 3 races. And that leaves the lead of the race with Ben Burgess. So Ben Burgess has got a clear advantage now from Reese Hunter, and Guy Cunnington shakes his fist at Reese Hunter down the straight towards the left and right in the middle of the lap. Shakes his hand in the air as if to say, what have I got to do, this guy? He keeps on wrecking me. So Guy Cunnington is very angry, but Ben Burgess is now on the run to victory. Surely now, with 2 laps to go as he crosses the line with 2 seconds remaining, there is no way he's going to lose this one. Reese Hunter will be second, Cunnington will be third, but is he going to challenge? Is there going to be a challenge from Holbrook, who is there in 4th position? They come off the hill, down the straight to turn 6, and so far so good for Ben Burgess. Reese Hunter second, and 3rd place is Guy Cunnington in front of George Holbrook and James Lingard. Lowther's in the mix there as well in P6, so we're definitely not done yet. But Ben Burgess runs in the lead. Second is Reese Hunter, but third is Cunnington, only just. Lowther trying to shake off Harrison as he makes a similar move to go for Lingard. Cunnington's been passed by Holbrook. And now he's having to slam the door firmly shut to stop Lingard coming through. So it's Burgess leading, Hunter second and Holbrook third as they go into the final lap. Burgess has got a comfortable lead over Reese Hunter, 1.4 seconds. Holbrook is third, then Cunnington, Lingard, Lowther and Harrison. Edmonds is down to 8th. So the battle continues for 3rd position, although if you're George Holbrook, you want to start getting away from Guy Cunnington and James Lingard. But he's not going to have it terribly easy. Well, it's a sour note for Reese Hunter and Guy Cunnington. They are currently 2nd and 4th. But yet again, they clatter together, this time on turn 5 at the bridge. Nobody is knowing really at the moment whose fault it is or who did what to who. Given Ben Burgess a clean run to victory as Sam Sanders has retired from the race along with Donkin, Hunt, Yowd and Jones. But Ben Burgess is going to take the checkered flag. A brilliant performance today. He won the earlier heat, and now he's the winner in the final. Ben Burgess wins. Persistence pays off, and Ben Burgess is victorious. Reese Hunter second. Holbrook is third from Guy Cunnington, James Lingard and James Lowther. From Sam Harrison, Tom Edmonds, Lewis Halliday and Alex Baker. Michael Roots can be happy with 11th place. 12th is Travis Coyne from Kieran Gifford and George Smith. Tom Walker and Teddy Clinton, then James Watson and Angie Stenning, Sam Stansbury and Harry Barker, Jody Newman and Mackenzie Morris. Then it will be Lewis Smith and Louis Fleet. But the retirements are Finley Sword, Sam Sanders, Ben Donkin, Joe Hunt, Dan Yowd and Dan Jones. In fact, Lewis Smith actually pips Mackenzie Morris to the flag in the end on 23rd position. But Ben Burgess takes a victory that surely he's unlikely to lose. It's obviously going to post-race scrutineering, but so far so good for Ben Burgess as he takes a brilliant victory in the second round of the Winter Series here at the Trent Valley Kart Club. It's been absolutely terrific, really sensational stuff, and hopefully there is more to come as the season progresses as we move into March. And at the very end of the race, to rub salt into the wound, the 37 was given a mechanical flag. That is Sam Stansbury. Now, he crossed the line in 19th, but because he got given the mechanical flag, there's a chance he may get a penalty. I'm not sure for certain, but we'll have to conclude that one a little bit later on. But now we have just 2 races left in the Trent Valley Kart Club's second round of the Winter Series. 2 races left. The first of those is the Honda Cadet Final. And having seen the battle between Kia Nakamura-Berta and Sonny Smith earlier on in the Ayami Cadet and in the heats, of course, for Honda Cadets, now we'll get to see them battle again in Honda Cadet as they did in Ayami Cadet earlier on. And that is going to be a sensational fight between the two of them. They really have been superb over the course of this weekend, those two. And surely there is going to be a really exciting end to the battle for them. So the green flag will fly at the top of the gantry. And it's going to be a really exciting end to the day's action from their point of view. Here we go. Out onto the circuit come the Honda Cadets. And it's time to go racing. The green flag flies. The Honda Cadets will, of course, form up on the starting grid as the only class this weekend to take a standing start. So we'll see how it all unfolds. A really exciting battle awaits them, though, of course, as the drivers will get themselves into position. But the Honda Cadets are ready for a battle and a half. They've had some amazing tussles already. But after all of the heats in the B final, it's time for the main event, the A final. Sonny Smith and Kia Nakamura-Berta on the front row of the grid from Jack Plant and Connor Duncan. Ewan Charman and Reese Lomax from Oscar Toyton and Stephen Duncan. Finley Whiting and Cruz Speakman from Macy Hitter and Rylan Ekberg. Then Connor Leishman and Aidan Evans from Henry Engzedeberg. Aidan Evans and Henry Engzedeberg and Mackenzie Douglas. Damien Barris-Haggett and Ollie Handley. Joe Cheek and Henry Jocelyn. Freddie Hull and Leon Frost. Alfie Thompson and Zach Drummond. Jacob Gilman and Gustav Izhikov. Louis Islin and Josh Patch from Callum Ghosh and Henry Gregory. Jamie Perrelly and Danny Shields from Jack Hobson, Josh Agambar, Hayden Eldridge, and Jai Lawrence. Those 4 names at the bottom, of course, were the ones that came through from the B final. So the drivers will bring themselves onto the starting grid and into the allotted grid slots. Sonny Smith in pole position, Kia Nakamura-Berta in second from Jack Plant and Connor Duncan. Any one of those 4 could win the race here. You've still got to count the talents of Ewan Charman, Reese Lomax, Oscar Toyton and Stephen Duncan. They've all been major players. Finley Whiting and Cruz Speakman likewise. But it's once again those 2 on the front of the grid. Sonny Smith and Kia Nakamura-Berta. Yet again, they will duel for victory. This time in Honda Cadet, and this time for the final of the second round of the championship. Last time out 4 weeks ago, that was the result that went the way of Kia Nakamura-Berta in front of Sonny Smith. If the tide turns, they'll be dead level in the Drivers' Championship. It's time for battle. The lights come on. We're racing. Perfect start for Kia Nakamura-Berta. Not the best of getaways from Sonny Smith, but he's going to get support from Jack Plant. So he will remain in second place. But Kia Nakamura-Berta gets the perfect getaway. And as they charge through for the first couple of corners of the race, it is the Japanese star who leads the race early doors. Into second place, it is going to be Sonny Smith again. Jack Plant tried to take it from him, but Sonny Smith got him straight back again. They come off the top of the hill. Oh, and there's a spinner. There's a spinner on the way out of 5. And that is a bit of a difficulty for the drivers as they come down to the first hairpin. There's one driver who's obviously at the back of the field that's been left. And we'll just try and identify who that was that spun out of 5. That, I'm afraid to say, is the 99, I think it is. We'll double check. But, yes, it is the 99, unfortunately, who spun. That is Freddie Hull, who's already had a very entertaining day at the office. Not always for the right reasons, but hopefully he will be able to get his way back up the field and pick off a few drivers as the final race of the day goes. So, out of the final corner, Nakamura Berta from Sonny Smith and Jack Plant. The top three unchanged from the start. Then it is Oscar Teuten. He's come up to 4th position. And the Duncans are side by side through turn 1. Stephen in front of Connor at the line. Reese Lomax, then Ewan Sharman, Finley Whiting and Macy Hitter from Cruz Speakman, Ekberg, Leishman, Evans and Douglas, just in front of Henry Ing-Zederberg and Barris Haggart. So down they come again. Up towards the turn 6 hairpin. Breaking down into the turn right hairpin, then back on the power again. Kia Nakamura Berta with about 4 kart lengths over Sonny Smith. He really does seem to enjoy these Honda Cadets. And doing a good job. Up to 3rd goes Oscar Teuten. That was a bold move on Jack Plant. Really nicely worked in there from Oscar Teuten. He seems to be really in his element in Honda Cadet these days. Last year he put on some good performances. This year he's even stronger. Always great to watch these drivers develop and move further forward. So up they come once again. Through the right-hander, up at the top end of the circuit, into the Mike Wilson complex once again, and back on the power. Through the left, through the right to finish the lap, and Kia Nakamura Berta continues to hold the lead in front of 2nd place, Sonny Smith. Now Teuten in 3rd, as we know, but he's got a lot of pressure. Jack Plant and Connor Duncan are right there behind him, while Stephen Duncan is working hard to hold off the pressure of Reese Lomax. Then Charman, Whiting, Ekberg, Hitter and Leishman all very close together. Leishman's got a challenge for Cruz Speakman and Mackenzie Douglas too, from Damian Barris Haggart, Aidan Evans and Henry Ing-Zederberg, from Henry Gregory and Jack Hobson, who has already made up 14 places. Keep an eye on Jack Hobson. He was on the front row of the original heats grids, so he's fast enough to win this thing, but he needs to work through the field to get there, having originally won the B final. So Kia Nakamura Berta running well in the lead. 2nd, Sonny Smith. 3rd, Oscar Teuten from Plant, and then it is Connor Duncan. Stephen Duncan trying to drop Reese Lomax. It's not easy. Jack Hobson is picking up his way through the field as he makes a dive for the inside of Aidan Evans. That's 16th place for Hobson. So he's making good progress from the back end of the field. Started 33rd for this race, don't forget. So he is driving very well indeed. Kia Nakamura Berta leads coming out of the final turn. Down the straight. Still with Sonny Smith in tow. Oscar Teuten is 3rd. Then it is Plant and Connor Duncan. Stephen Duncan 6th in front of Reese Lomax. Then Charman, and the gaggle of carts behind is Hitter, Whiting, Leishman, Ekberg and Speakman. Then Douglas and Hobson, Evans, Barris Haggart, Gregory and Zederberg and Jocelyn rounding out the top 20. Jamie Perrelli and Joshua Gambar are both trying to make their way through the field as well. Don't forget they were top 6 material at one stage in the meeting. Up the inside, a change for the lead as Sonny Smith makes the move on Kia Nakamura Berta into the turn 6 hairpin. Now the short stretch to the turn 7 hairpin, the left-hander. But Sonny Smith has taken the lead at a crucial stage of the race. So with 5 minutes and 40 still to go, with a lap in hand after that as well, Sonny Smith decides he's going to lead it. Kia Nakamura Berta having to settle for 2nd for the moment at least. Brilliant battling. It's still going strong. Great racing on the horizon. And we're going to get some magic displays from the competitors as they come through again. Out to the final chicane. Kia Nakamura Berta still giving Sonny Smith plenty to think about as they come down the main straight once again. And over the line, Sonny Smith from Kia Nakamura Berta through to the first corner. Into the inside curve, into the outside curve. And they're still running well together, but the two of them are disappearing out into the distance now. Jack Plant is up to 3rd and Connor Duncan's up to 4th past Oscar Teuten, who slips back into 5th place. Duncan and Lomax are still together in 6th and 7th. They're making ground on the battle for 3rd position. It's now 5 of them warring over that last spot on the podium. So Jack Plant is doing a grand job in front of Connor Duncan. But Connor Duncan is not done yet for 3rd position. Kia Nakamura Berta just working with Sonny Smith to get away from the rest of the field. Let's continue the charge on the run to the chicane. They go into the S's. In through the left, in through the right, and up towards the final section. Now there's a yellow flag under the Litchfield Bridge. So somebody has gone off at Litchfield. I think it's Jacob Gilman. So Jacob Gilman, he manages to get the kart going again, though, the Ambition Motorsport driver. But unfortunately, he has spun it under the Litchfield Bridge and continues unabated, but unfortunately down the order. So now the leaders continue to check out away from the rest of the field. It will be these two who fight for the victory. But how they will battle and when they will battle essentially is up to Kia Nakamura Berta. He's there in 2nd place. Chasing after Sonny Smith It's up to him when he makes the challenge to go for it. So from his point of view, he can really measure the situation. And hopefully he will have plenty of strength to make his bid to move forward. But he's obviously going to time it when he is comfortable. He's still close enough to Sonny Smith that he doesn't need to worry too much about where the pace of the kart is going to be. There's still a lot to come from this race. Don't forget, 3 minutes and 20 plus the additional lap on the clock. It's not going to be easy to finish this race up. And we still don't really know who is going to make the first deadlock. Third position is still tight. Plant, Duncan and Toyton from Stephen Duncan and Reese Lomax. Those five very close together for the third position spot. And they could well be joined. Well, I was going to say they could well be joined for the 8th position battle. Ewan Charman and Jack Hobson, who's now made his way to 9th. But because Jack Hobson's been working his magic through the field, they're not quite going to get close enough to third position yet. And I don't really see that with 2 minutes and 45 on the clock, making up a deficit of 5 seconds. But Jack Hobson is at the front of that queue. He is now in 8th. Still the battle between Sonny Smith and Kia Nakamura-Berta. Down the back straight. So Kia Nakamura-Berta into the braking zone for turn 6 through the first right-hander hairpin. Back on the power. Left-hand hairpin next. A little bit of a slide for 6th and 7th place as they battle. That is Stephen Duncan and Reese Lomax. Now on the back of the third place trio. A massive squabble down the back straight with plenty of drivers in the mix as they all battle away. But there's lots of drivers in contention as they battle. Out on the far side. Great racing and great driving from these Honda cadets. A lot of jostling. You have to learn your craft in the world of karting by getting in there and getting stuck in. And they've done a fantastic job here in the second round of the Winter Series at Trent Valley Kart Club. Great race standards and driving from all of the competitors. Here comes Sonny Smith making the bid back on Kia Nakamura-Berta. I didn't even see when he made the pass. He must have done it at the far side, but Sonny Smith gets back through. So Sonny Smith hits the front once more. Kia Nakamura-Berta in second again. They come up over the bridge. And it's yellow flags. It's one of the drivers in the top 6 battle. We've lost one of them. It was Plant, Toyton, Stephen Duncan, Reese Lomax and Connor Duncan. It was in the mix. So which one of them has not emerged? It's Oscar Toyton. Oscar Toyton has spun and got it going again. But it's no recompense for Oscar Toyton. He recovers, but he's now way down the order. And that is a real shame for Oscar Toyton. He's emerged in... Oh, no, he's there in 4th position. My apologies. But... yes, he was in 4th position when he had the incident. My apologies. So he's going to tumble down the timesheets very shortly indeed. But unfortunately, it's no help to Oscar Toyton's cause. The battle continues between Sonny Smith and your race leader, Kia Nakamura-Berta. Still warring and having a good battle as they go through to the first corner, through the right, through the left, under the Litchfield Bridge. And now Oscar Toyton, I'm trying to pick him out. Jack Hobson is next in the queue. Has slipped now behind the 42 of Ewan Charman, so he's 9th. Sonny Smith battling away with Kia Nakamura-Berta down the back straight, and we're into the penultimate lap, and Nakamura-Berta knows it. He can do the math, so he's going to try and make his charge for Sonny Smith. It's now or never for third position as well as Plant, Stephen Duncan, Lomax and Connor Duncan are battling away with Connor Duncan now in front of Stephen. He makes the move for 4th position now, up the inside, as Kia Nakamura-Berta tries to shut the door, having got the move done on Sonny Smith. They are battling for the victory. And Nakamura-Berta's got the lead. Sonny Smith in 2nd position now. They jostle away and jockey for position as they come off the turn at Mike Wilson Complex, and they are going to battle for the flag, surely. But Kia Nakamura-Berta has hit the front. He won the Miami Cadet final. Can he do the unthinkable and win the Honda Cadet final as well? Down the straight, last lap. Sonny Smith's going to give it everything. He charges after Kia Nakamura-Berta in through the first chicane. Jack Plant holds on to 3rd in front of Connor Duncan, Reese Lomax and Stephen Duncan. But now Connor Duncan's going for 3rd as Sonny Smith goes for the lead and gets it. Sonny Smith takes the lead at turn 3 as they go over the Litchfield Bridge for the last time. A warning flag goes out for the 12. Now that is Lewis Islin. So that's not going to affect the leaders, but it is Sonny Smith protecting the inside at turn 6. An amazing jostle for 3rd position as the 4 of them squabble over 3rd. Sonny Smith protecting the inside line for dear life and holding the cart stationary. Round the outside, Kier Nakamura Berta drives round him. What a move! Sonny Smith was trying to get the cart stopped on the apex to get the cart slowed down, but Nakamura Berta just went right round the outside, ran rings around him. Amazing move from Nakamura Berta. And now he is going to take the victory, surely, in both the Ayami and Honda Cadet finals here at Trent Valley Kart Club. Amazing. Out of the final turn, Kier Nakamura Berta triumphs in style. Yes, mate. Absolutely perfect. Second place for Sonny Smith. And third at the line is Reese Lomax. What a finish. Lomax, Plant and Duncan were pretty much a photo finish across the line. Looks like we've lost somebody on the last lap. We've lost one of the competitors. I think that might be one of the CER drivers. And it could be, I think that could be could be Joe Cheek, actually. No, Joe Cheek has come through across the line, so somebody in trouble right at the end there. I think that's Finley Whiting, actually, who's not come through. But Kier Nakamura Berta wins a brilliant race. Brilliant, brilliant race from Sonny Smith. Third position for Reese Lomax. Fantastic effort from him to get third. Fourth position for Jack Plant. Connor Duncan in fifth place in front of Stephen Duncan from Jack Hobson, who fights back to seventh. 26 places made up. You can't say fairer than that. Eighth position for Oscar Toyton. Ninth for Ewan Charman and 10th for Cruz Speakman. 20 places made up from Jamie Pirelli in 11th. 22 places made up from Josh Agambar in 12th. Macy Hitter 13th. 16 places made up for Henry Gregory in 14th. Then it's Leishman and Zederberg, Barris Haggett, Douglas, Evans and Thompson. Then Zach Drummond from Jocelyn Ekberg, Handley, Lawrence, Isdin, Frost and Shields. Ghosh, Hull, Patch, Uzakov, Joe Cheek, Hayden Eldridge and Jacob Gilman, with sadly Finley Whiting failing to make the finish of the race after an incident on the last lap. But Kier Nakamura Berta has won the final in both Ayami and Honda Cadet disciplines ahead of Sonny Smith in both races. Absolutely fantastic. Great to see that the two doing both classes have worked so hard and find themselves at the top of the table in both categories. And so there's just one race to go here, and that is going to be the final for Rotax 177. And after the fight we had in the second heat, do not think for an instant that this race is going to be dull. It's going to be edge-of-your-seat stuff. Brilliant racing we're going to get from Rotax 177. The green flag flies. We'll send them around for the final rolling lap of the day here. And it's going to be magic. Rotax 177 has given us terrific racing, with Adam Sadler poised to make it a victory again. He lines up on the front row of the grid alongside Louis Large. Second row is Luke Oliver from Joe Bleakley, and then Ian Branfield and Chris Thomas, Aaron Yao and Carl Churchill, Chris Wright and Tim Darlow from Charlie Whaley and Ross Meakin, John Scott and Will Davies, then Mark Wingard, Sean Smith and Rob Carter. So the Rotax 177 final will close out proceedings on this second round of the Trent Valley Kart Club Winter Series. And I have to say, full credit to everybody for getting this meeting to run efficiently. There's barely been a delay over the course of the Sunday's activities. Only the one red flag to speak of. The track conditions were sorted out immensely by the marshals at the start of the day. They did a fantastic job. And everybody on the administration side of things and the running of the event at Trent Valley Kart Club can be incredibly impressed and proud of themselves. They've done it in very difficult circumstances, sub-zero temperatures in the mornings, and yet they've still run this meeting perfectly. Absolutely brilliant. So the last race of the day, Rotax 177, Sadler and Large, Oliver and Bleakley, Branfield and Thomas, Yao and Churchill, Wright and Darlow. Let's get a race on our hands for the last time today. It is go at PF International. What a start from the front from Sadler. He's going to squeeze out Louis Large. He slides sideways, and Large is going to go efficient straight away as they charge under the Litchfield Bridge. No drama, no fisticuffs, but Large is going to try and make the move immediately. He has to bail out of it. He remains in second for the moment. They come off the bridge through 5, down the back straight, and Louis Large is going to try and get alongside Sadler immediately. Bleakley trying to shake off Luke Oliver, who goes to the left side and down into the hairpin. That's a very late lunge from Bleakley. And Large has nowhere to go but off the circuit. He recovers in third behind Oliver, but Sadler's got a big lead now. It's already 6 kart lengths. Louis Large shopping the cross on the 30 of Carl Churchill. Carl Churchill's had an amazing start. He's in 4th position. Wow. They obviously felt, well, we're not going to get outdone by a bunch of cadets. We're going to have a serious rock and roll on our hands. Battling away at the front. Sadler is your leader. 2nd place is Luke Oliver. And 3rd place now, that is Louis Large. They come out of the final turn onto the main straight once more. Sadler, Oliver, on up the inside. That is a move from Chris Thomas, I think that is. No, my apologies. Chris Thomas is down at the back. So Chris Thomas has had a terrible start to his race and finds himself now dead last after the difficulties he had earlier on. They might well have returned. And there's a mechanical flag, and it's Chris Wright. Chris Wright's got a mechanical flag. That has got to be a remnant of the incident earlier on when Chris Thomas pulled off the road and the 8 of Chris Wright had damage. So Chris Wright, unfortunately, has been given the mechanical flag. So it looks to me as though he's going to pull straight into the pits at the end of this lap. If not, he'll do so on the end of the next. But what a shame for Chris Wright. He'll be bitterly, bitterly disappointed that the race has ended out the way it's gone. He carries on for the moment, but that's because he hasn't seen the flag yet. He'll see it this time. But what a shame for Chris Wright. And there it is, mechanical flag for the 8. And he knows it. There's nothing he can do. Adam Sadler leads it from Luke Oliver and Louis Large. Joe Bleakley is 4th from Carl Churchill, who's had a terrific start. Chris Wright in 6th, but not for long. Branfield will take it up from him. Then Yao, Whaley, Meakin and Davies from Darlow, Smith, Thomas, Scott and Wingard. But for 2nd place, it is still Luke Oliver versus Louis Large, and they are battling away for P2. It's going to be an absolutely terrific tussle between those boys. 4th position, Joe Bleakley, still in front of Carl Churchill, running well. But despite Chris Wright being very frustrated, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to run around together. But as they come off of the Mike Wilson complex, it will be a very tricky situation as they come through once more out of the final chicane. Down the main straight. Adam Sadler leads. Luke Oliver 2nd from Louis Large. Then in 4th, it is Bleakley from Churchill and Wright, Branfield and Yao. Whaley, Meakin, Thomas and Davies, Darlow, Smith and Scott from Wingard in 16th. And Chris Wright has yet to pull off, actually. He's been shown the mechanical flag twice now. And Chris Wright has continued. He should not have done. The mechanical flag went out to him. So he needs to keep going. But basically, Chris Wright is still out there in 6th position at the time being. Or is that 5th position now? Yes, he's in 5th place, Chris Wright. And he really shouldn't be, because he's had the mechanical flag waved to him. So he should really be peeling off into the pits. Was he making that overtaking move just for pride? But no, he's carrying on. Chris Wright is carrying on. He's been given the mechanical flag twice already. And if he ignores it, he's going to be shown the black flag. But Sadler leads, Oliver 2nd, Large 3rd from Bleakley and Churchill. And then, of course, no, my apologies, Bleakley and Chris Wright, then Carl Churchill. Ian Branfield is 7th from Yao, Whaley and Chris Thomas, who's up to 10th. Then comes the 11th place man, that is Ross Meakin from Will Davies and Tim Darlow. Sean Smith, John Scott and Mark Wingard. But we're about to get a retirement from the race, sadly, and it's Chris Wright because he's been shown the mechanical flag. Nobody's told him that, though, because he's caught up to Joe Bleakley and he's trying to go for 4th position. Come on, Chris, you're not playing ball here, mate. Down the straight towards the chicane. Into turn 8, the left. Into turn 9, the right. And having been shown the mechanical flag for 3 consecutive laps, what is Chris Wright going to do? Or is he just going to go, never mind, I'll just go for it anyway? He continues on again. Well, Chris Wright has now ignored the mechanical flag 3 times, and he gets the black flag. Exclusion. Exclusion from the race. Well, no, sorry, black flag means you've got to report to the pits immediately. If you ignore the black flag, then you really will be disqualified. But Chris Wright is not endearing himself to the officials at all here. He's there in 5th position. Now he's having a look at Bleakley. So the leader is still Adam Sadler, the new fastest lap of the race last time, 59.21. Second, Luke Oliver. Third, Louis Large. Fourth is Joe Bleakley. And fifth is Chris Wright, who is still motoring despite having been shown the mechanical flag on 3 consecutive laps and now has the black flag. Well, it's the last race of the day, and he probably thinks, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go for the victory. But that's not the point. The point is, if you're shown the black flag, that's it. End of. So they come through. Is Chris Wright pulling off? No, he is not. He's ignored the black flag again. So the black flag is still out, and Chris Wright is being signalled by the official standing on the main straight now. Can you not see the digiboard? He's ignoring it and going for the place on Bleakley. He takes 4th position off Bleakley, and Chris Wright is not going to be happy about this. Bleakley's not going to be happy about this. He fends him off for the moment. But Chris Wright should not even be in this motor race. He's battling away for 4th place and he's got the position. But he shouldn't be there. He's been given the black flag for a reason. Meanwhile, Louis Large has gone into 2nd position. So Louis Large in P2 now, having got past Luke Oliver. And in 4th place is Chris Wright. And he is in so much trouble with the officials after this race. There's no way he's going to get away with this one. And he's still going. He's ignored the black flag again. Well, this is lunacy. Chris Wright should not even be on this circuit at the moment. Whether he agrees with it or not is irrelevant. And for the 3rd time running, Chris Wright has ignored the flag. Now, if he does it this time, he will be excluded from the meeting, and the officials could well throw the rule book at him. Well, 2 minutes and 45. Adam Sadler leads the way. Louis Large in 2nd from Luke Oliver in 3rd. 4th is Chris Wright, under the wrath of the stewards in 4th. 5th is Joe Bleakley. Then it's Chris Thomas in 6th, having fought his way up. Aaron Yao is 7th. Whaley is 8th from Meakin, Churchill. Then Davies, Smith, Darlow, Scott and Wingard, with Branfield sadly out of the race with a mechanical problem. Now, let's see what Chris Wright does in his fairy tale with the stewards this time. The leaders go through, Sadler, Large and Oliver. What does Chris Wright do? He's ignored it again. Well, why on earth would you play chicken with the rule book? Honestly. Out of the final chicane, and he's still going around. He's been excluded effectively from the race now, surely, because he's ignored the black flag on 3 straight laps. So there's no way he's going to be allowed to be part of the official result. But he continues on in 4th place regardless. Adam Sadler leads the way. Louis Large is in 2nd place. Luke Oliver is 3rd. Wright is 4th on the road, but surely an impending disqualification is almost guaranteed for him now. Joe Bleakley in 5th place. 6th position is Chris Thomas. 7th is Yao. 8th is Whaley. 9th is Meakin and 10th is Churchill. Then 11th is Will Davies. 12th is Sean Smith from Tim Darlow, John Scott and Mark Wingard. With Branfield out of the race, there's going to be 14 finishers. There are 15 of them on the road. There's going to be 14 finishers because one of them is going to be deleted from the results, almost certainly. He's still carrying on despite the black flag signals, and he's there in 4th on the road. 1 minute to go. So that's going to be 2 laps to go. And Chris Wright continues on, oblivious to the rules. They're in 4th position. The thing is, they can figure out what it is and he can get back in the race, but he's not interested in that, clearly. I'm trying to figure out what it is that Chris Wright has actually been given a mechanical flag for. I'll double check. I think it might be something to do with his rear bumper. We'll double check as they come through, and maybe there's something we can spot. Still no problem at all for Sadler. He's out in control. Large and Oliver are together. I'm not sure what it is that's caused this mechanical flag for the 8, but he has now ignored the mechanical flag 3 times and the black flag 3 times. So the drama in this race is effectively a driver deciding that the rules don't matter. Adam Sadler comes out of the final turn, though, and he has got 2 laps to go as he crosses the line. So a great run this is for Adam Sadler in front of Louis Large and Luke Oliver. Chris Wright is 4th on the road. Bleakley will be 4th on the time books as things currently stand, surely. But the battle for 2nd place is on further up the road. Louis Large in front of Luke Oliver. Luke Oliver's really starting to get into Louis Large. He's closing in. Louis Large defends. Luke Oliver is catching him and going alongside. And here comes Chris Wright. No wonder he decided not to challenge he's ignored the black flag because he thinks he can catch these two. But surely he doesn't think he's going to be allowed to keep second place. He's racing for pride more than anything else by the look of it. But Louis Large is still there in second. Luke Oliver is next. Here comes Chris Wright. Up towards the Mike Wilson complex, trying to get his move done. The officials are not going to take kindly to this at all, but the last lap board comes out for Sadler. Sadler leads the race, and it is now a three-way fight for second on the road. Large, Oliver, and Chris Wright, who has been shown the mechanical flag on 3 consecutive laps and the black flag on 3 consecutive laps and ignored them all. But now Large is defending from Oliver. Chris Wright is behind them as they come off the turn. At turn 5, down the back straight. So here they come once again. Luke Oliver's going to try and make a move around the outside, and right around the outside of all of them comes Chris Wright. Louis Large holds him off, and somehow back into third comes Oliver. Oh, Oliver nudges Louis Large, who's still defending second position. Closing up on all of them is Joe Bleakley now. But the victory is definitely going to go the way of Adam Sadler. He has been absolutely supreme in all of the previous races. And he has made it look absolute child's play from further back in the pack. Adam Sadler out of the final turn. And Adam Sadler wins gloriously in the 177 final. Brilliant job. Second place is going to go the way of Louis Large. Third to Luke Oliver. Chris Wright crosses the line in fourth. I doubt he'll be staying there in the results. Joe Bleakley is next from Chris Thomas. And then Aaron Yao and Charlie Whaley. Ross Meakin crosses the line next. Then rounding out the top 10 on the road is Will Davies. Just a whisker. No, sorry, Sean. Yes, it is Sean Smith, a whisker in front of Carl Churchill and John Scott. What happened to Will Davies? Well, he's gone on the last lap. Darlow and Wingard have gone through. Where is Will Davies? No, he's had an incident on the final lap of the race up at the final couple of corners. So clearly he went for an overtake somewhere and has been unable to get the kart going again. He's trying to get the kart moving to cross the line, but I'm not sure he's going to make it. So Will Davies is going to be out of the race as well. Branfield out and Carter a non-starter. So Adam Sadler wins the race, Louis Large in second, and Luke Oliver in third. Well, fantastic racing, and yet again, I can only commend the Trent Valley Kart Club, who have been absolutely brilliant all weekend long in incredibly difficult conditions. Through ice, through snow, and through bitter cold and wind, they have been absolutely incredible, and absolute credit to the Trent Valley Kart Club, to everybody on hand, from the likes of Nigel Edwards and Martin Bean, all of the other Clarks, the Goldthorpes, the Manchesters, who have been working very hard indeed to keep the meeting flowing beautifully. Only one red flag stoppage, no trips to the hospital needed in very tricky conditions. It's very commendable and great racing indeed. We hope you've enjoyed it. And hopefully we will be back at Trent Valley Kart Club again very soon indeed. The next Winter Series meeting, of course, is 4 weeks from now on the 2nd and 3rd of March. Those who are Downforce Radio fans, well, we're going to be in action again this coming weekend for the IAMI Winter Cup out in Valencia in Spain. I'm Jake Sanson. From all of us here, a massive thank you. And hopefully I will see you all back at Trent Valley Kart Club very soon indeed. Have a great night.
There is no terrible way to win. There is only winning.
Let me drive. I will make a fool out of you. Every one of us has to find a reason to do this. You do it because you're driven.
I was beginning to think I'd never be anything more than a piston-happy, lead-foot punk. Then this starts to happen.
Somebody put it in your mind you gotta be perfect every time out or you're a failure. Well, forget that. Just forget it.
You ready to put away your toys and grow up? Are you ready to make more money in 1 year than your father made in his whole life? Are you ready to become a real race car driver?
When I won it was probably the last time I ever felt pure victory.
Because I'm quicker than all of you.
And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver.
But hell, isn't that what we're in this for? To stare death in the face and to cheat it? Come on, there's nobility in that. It's like being knights.
No pressure, nobody breathing down my back, just driving because I left it pure.
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
I just hope when you do, that I'm there to see it.
Racing. That's the name of the game, isn't it? Win or lose, put up a show.
Fine. Then let's race.